inside the opening second. So first use with the Seagulls, and here comes Paseka on a centre field run here, still inside 20, and he'll play it now for the Seagulls. Wakeham sends it across here, open side left for the run of Jake Trebojevic, and Smith comes across to tackle him. 20 in from that western side, 30 out from that southern line here at Western Sydney Stadium. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott and Michael Carianis on this Sunday evening. Wakeham across now for Walsh. His first touch, a pass out wide, and 3 Panthers there on that left edge defence, tackling Paseka. Played back to Wakeham, and they'll close the set with a kick from Brooks, high and long down towards the chest of Edwards, and the Panthers run it back from that kick, and Walsh tackles Edwards first, so a nice statement early on from the youngster, and Edwards will roll it back here for the Panthers, 15 out from his own line. Comes here away on a centre field run to Jenkins. No tries last week, which is rare for him. Of course, 16 tries on the year through those 8 games. And it was all Brian Todd and Edwards last week in that Penrith backline. Now it's with Alamotti. Play at 25 out, 20 in western side. Back through centre field now for Liotta. Last play, Panthers 30 out. Fed across here from Lussick, across to Cleary. And he kicks, and this tumbles down there to the fullback, Tolotau Kola, who again skips back into the defensive line. 35 out from that southern line here. Manly on the attack. No score so far, Matthew. The Panthers and the Seagulls.
Yeah, I can tell you, Kieran Foran's got his team honed in for line speed and running hard, that's for sure. They've come out with great intent and dominating early field position.
40 out southern line. They come short side right here again. The Seagulls with Hamoli Olakawatu, their vice-captain. And he's only a few steps inside Panthers territory on play 4. Across now for Hetherington. Going on to tackle is Lussick, and up top Lindsay Smith. Played there for Wakeham. Comes back to the right-hand side now for Walsh. Looked a little forward there for Garrick, and he's collected 35 out. 10 in from the eastern side. It will be the last play now for the Seagulls. Up goes the kick from Walsh, tackled by Jenkins. Edwards launches off his own goal line here and brings it down deep in that northeastern corner of Western Sydney Stadium. Penrith 0, Manly 0 in these first 2.5 minutes. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Brought back here with Isaiah Papali'i in the black headgear. So all the way across now as Cleary thought he saw a gap in the line, and will now play it for the Panthers. 20 out. Edwards goes from dummy half himself. Shares it across now for Lindsay Smith, and he's set upon here by 3 Sea Eagles defenders. 30 out, 20 in eastern side. Lussick dummy half across to Isaiah Yeo, his fellow captain in Cleary. And now here again they go with Luke Garner on that right edge this time for the Panthers. 5 short of the halfway. Last play for the Panthers. Cleary's kick goes high cross field here. A clean launch, so too Jenkins, and it comes forward off the Panthers. It did, says White Raymond. Said it was on that first touch from Jenkins. That will be scrum feed for the Sea Eagles. 30 out, in fact, to play the ball, of course, end of the set. 30 out from that southern line. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, interesting kick there from Nathan Cleary. It wasn't that deep, but I think it was purposeful the way he aimed it high and just enough for the chasers to get there. Jason Saab didn't want a bar of that. Jenkins leapt over him, but just fumbled that ball.
I love that always succinct Dave in Nowra. Just says, go Penrith. Thank you, Dave. Great to hear from you as per usual. 40 out here. The first set restart of the game goes Manly's way. So a full set inside Penrith's half, northern end, and it's rolled back there by Falalo. Wakeham brings it away here to Paseka, and he's wrapped up by Liotta. Big tackle. 40 out centre field here. Only on play 3 it is now for the Seagulls. Wakeham flat ball to Jake Trebojevic onto Walsh. He breaks the line near the tackle of Talangi, and he's almost through before he's dragged back by Papali'i Edwards. 25 out now Seagulls. Wakeham across to Jake Trebojevic. Angles his run here inside 20 northern end, and he stands on the tackle of Lindsay Smith. Busy in defence so far, Smith for the Panthers. Comes to Brooks. On here to the corner. It comes now through the gap to Falalo, and he is in to score the try. The Seagulls strike first at Western Sydney Stadium. Edwards came across with a sparing dive and tackle, but Clayton Falalo scores his 2nd try of the year, just his 4th game. And it's Manly Warringah 4, the Penrith Panthers 0. Kick to come for the Seagulls. 4.5 gone first half. Matthew Elliott.
Well, an absolute indication of who's dominating this game early on. And just so you know, Falalo, the tackle he beat, he just strolled on the outside of Nathan Cleary to get that ball down after some slick play from the inside there. I talked about Brooks needing to aim up. Well, he certainly dug in the line there and created space.
Down to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, it's just that speed of Kohler that got on the outside of Nathan Cleary and attracted Paul Alamotti, which allowed Falolo to get on the outside to score that try. But nice bit of work from the young fullback, Tolotau Kohler. Hasn't played a lot at fullback. Tom Trbojevic injury has opened that door for him, and he's just got speed to burn.
Yeah, they've certainly used the Hopewadi in that spot the past couple of years when they've had the absence of Tom Trbojevic, but Tolotau Kohler, of course, is probably the fastest man in that team, in a pretty fast team. Here's the kick, by the way, Matt, from Ruben Garrick. He's 25 out and about 6 metres in from the western side in front of us to make it a 6-0 Manly scoreline early, and he makes no mistake. Eagles 6, Panthers 0 here at Western Sydney Stadium. 6 minutes played first half, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, I watched Kohler and Saab do their warm-up and did a bit of a sprint, 50-metre sprint side by side, and there was nothing in it. There wasn't a competition, though. It wasn't a competition, I promise. They weren't competing with each other, but they kind of were.
Tolotau Kohler still holds the GPS record, I think, for the 100 metres. Schoolboy level. So even though he's a few years removed from school now, he still holds the private school record. So.
But just another thing, what about how impressive Joey Walsh has been? He's made a couple of half breaks. He's certainly not lacking confidence at all.
So, Fozzie's men strike early here at Western Sydney Stadium. Can the Panthers respond? Hetherington hits it up off the kickoff, and he's met there by Papali'i and Lindsay Smith. Will play it 10 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Get to your text shortly and around the ground. 0467 920 222. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, Michael Carianis here on this Sunday evening at Parramatta. 30 out, 20 in, where Paseka is claimed now by Isaiah Yeo. He peels off. Now it's played to Wakeham. Short side right on that edge for Garrick. He hits and spins. Still 40 out, though, from his own line. It is play 4. Early kick from Brooks inside 40, and it will bounce just a little shy of that 20-metre line. Back with the flight. Brian To'o was nowhere near it either. It will be a Penrith ball. 30 out from their own line at Northern End, and 6-0 is Manly's lead here. Mark in Mystery Bay says, great to hear a good early start, though like your crew, I think the winning run might end tonight. Like our crew. Answer Levine, thank you for your text. 35 out, left-hand side. And it is now here with Casey McLean, who turned 20 last week. Young Casey McLean. Brought away from dummy half by Lussick. One-on-one tackle there with Wakeham chasing him. Few metres short of the halfway. Picked up now by Cleary. Shares it with Lindsay Smith. As mentioned, busy in attack and defence early on for the Penrith Panthers, who trail 6-0 at the hands of Manly here. So it's the Seagulls 6, Panthers 0. Lussick dummy half. Second last play. Early kick from Cleary. Over the top there as Saab traces it back towards the 10-metre line and over the eastern touchline. So Manly will take possession from there with a 6-0 lead. 7 gone first half. Around the grounds, AFL full-time at the SCG. The Swans have beaten Melbourne by 17 points. 131 to 114. And the A-League Women's second half semi-final first leg, Brisbane Roar 1, Wellington Phoenix 1. Get to Michael Carianis on the touchline very shortly as well, as the Seagulls start this next set with Brooks at dummy half, a pass off to his left, and tackled ball all down there is the try scorer, Clayton Falolo. Wakeham fires it wide and quite high there for Jake Trbojevic, who brings it down but gains no real ground. Wakeham across to Walsh. Inside ball now, Paseka goes a step, shares it now with his fullback in Tolotau Kohler, and he's collected 25 out centre field now for the Seagulls on play 4. Wakeham across now again. Up that right-hand side they come. Olakau'atu back to Walsh. Shared back here now for Hetherington, and he tries to take on Isaiah Yeo and Lindsay Smith, but the gap closes. Wakeham on this last play finds Brooks. Hurried kick down towards that corner there for the winger Jenkins. He'll play it, he'll grab it 10 out from his own line, and now he's tackled by Wakeham and Brooks. 17 out centre field, and it's still Manly 6, Panthers 0. Touchline Michael Carianis.
Yeah, a bit adventurous in that set coming out of their own end, Manly. They're not afraid to throw a couple of offloads. Olakau'atu threw a couple in that set. They were a little bit risky, but didn't really produce much for them with the high risk attached to it. Edwards gains a dozen here in this set for the Panthers, and now it's run up the field here by Alamotti. Gains about 15 more. Isaiah Yeo halfway, so it's now second last, make it last
now for the Panthers, 40 out centre field. Lussick, it's a set restart in that last tackle, so Cleary reshaped the kick, holds the foot, he goes himself, dragged down from behind by Brooks, 30 out, 10 Western side, should get another set restart because of that overzealous ruck work there from Brooks. So back-to-back set restarts this set now for the Panthers. It's played by Garner, 25 out. Lussick across down to Isaiah Yeo, and he shares it back with his fullback Edwards, takes on Ben Trebojevic. He bursts his way through Hetherington and now dragged down by Jake Trebojevic. 10 out, right-hand side of the post. Lussick to Leota, on here to Smith, who deserves a try for the Panthers. Stop now, 6 out, left-hand side of the post. Back from Lussick to Cleary to Edwards. Right edge they go as he spins to the Brooks tackle Edwards, and he will play it here, tackle 4. Panthers trail 6-0 at the hands of Manly early on. Cleary to Isaiah Yeo, across the goal mouth it comes now to Langy. He dummies, and now he beats Walsh for speed, goes in and scores the try, and the Panthers do respond. 6-4, kick 2 come Panthers. 11 gone, first half on ABC Sport. The try scorer, Blaze Talangi.
Out of any team in the competition, Brett, the one thing you don't want to do is give Penrith 6 again on last play. But even there, their play going on the try line wasn't that constructive. But Talangi gets the ball standing still, stops the whole defensive line after a couple of offloads, and wow. But Joe Walsh got a lovely photo of him as he went past him, that's for sure. It's just genuine speed from a standing start.
Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, Blaze Talangi stopped, threw a dummy, and Joey Walsh stopped as well. And that was just enough to give Blaze Talangi an opportunity to get on the outside. Both of them from a standing start, and Blaze just burnt him badly.
Even though he was dacked in the process as well, Matthew as well. He did well to get there.
Seems to be a new thing at the moment. There's a lot of dacking going on.
What? I've got a conspiracy. Some players have the sponsorship with the Speedos, or whatever they're called, the budgie smugglers.
Oh, okay.
I've just mentioned 2 brands, but they're competing brands. That's okay. 6-4, I think.
I didn't even realise that.
Cleary, 20 out, 11 in from the eastern side. You are seeing more players bums, aren't you, these days?
Yes.
Here is Nathan
Just
Cleary.
saying.
Nathan Cleary's no bum. With the ball on the tee. They make it a 6-all scoreline here for the first 12 minutes at Western Sydney Stadium. He does just that. So Penrith 6, Manly 6 here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott and Michael Carianis. Off the SMS, Warren from Blacktown says, come on Penrith, what are you doing? That was before Talangi scored that try. Hubby and I are listening as we fly back to Sydney from Adelaide. Manly fans cheering loudly from up here. Fosball forever. How good, says Kathy and Patrick. Great to hear a good early start. Oh yeah, thank you Mark from Mystery Bay. Stephen from Engadine says, just for Gibbsy, can we have a moon report, please? We saw one there with Blaze Talangi. We'll get Michael Carianis a moon report from the sideline very soon.
Very good.
I mentioned Andrew Levine. Thank you for your text. And great call, Spreadsy. Love ABC League call, best on radio. And that is from on the Central Coast. Morgan. Back from the kick-off here. Panthers with a set after points as Isaiah Yeo receives it now. He makes light work of that tackle of Everington, who's a little slow getting up there. And Edwards, in fact, his opponent holds him up and just, he'll be at least preliminarily assessed on field here, Kobe Hetherington.
Yeah, he'll be taken straight from the field. He got his head on the wrong side, and this is where we see most concussions, Brett. It's not with high tackles, it's with defenders getting their head on the wrong side there, and that's really poor tackle technique. And
did he catch some of the elbow there as he was carrying the footy, Isaiah?
No, all hip. All hip and all ouch.
So 13 minutes played here in the first half. It's Penrith 6, Manly 6. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
He just got wrong footed there, didn't he, Hetherington, with Isaiah, some late full work. Takiaho has come onto the field. As for the moon, thankfully I cannot see it.
I can see it because we're up high, but I think the full moon was last night, wasn't it? So Gibbsy loves his moon chat. We'll leave that to him. Papali'i will play at 40 out here. Lussick across now for Edwards, and now Cleary on this second last play for the Panthers. Up that right edge they go here through Alamotti. He was Sydney last time these sides met, around 8 last year, over a year ago. We'll kick off the right edge now from Garner. Take him down there on the wing for the Sea Eagles, and will be brought back by Hopewadi. He'll be, in fact, it's the fullback down there in Tolotau Kola, will play at 20 out from his own line. So Panthers 6, Sea Eagles 6 here in this first half. 13 minutes played. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. The third of 3 games today. Out there is Siwa Takiaho, while Hetherington's assessed on the sideline. Dummy half Wakeham across to Jake Trebojevic, and now Brooks inside ball to Ben Trebojevic. Breaks the tackle there of Cleary, but he's stopped now by Alamotti and also Garner. 7 metres short of the halfway. Off now again to Taniela Paseka. He stands in a 3-man tackle. Last play for the Seagulls at 6 all the scoreline here early on at Western Sydney Stadium. The kick from Brooks goes up high there, Phil Edwards. So he'll bring it back from his own 10-metre line. Skips across the defensive line. Walsh gets him first again, Matthew, like this. And he's having a great start, Jimmy Walsh, in this game for the Seagulls. Edwards will play it 10 out from his own line. Yeah, good contact, mate. You got your head on the right side there when you hit me there. But again, Manly used that formula. That's playing direct footy. It gets them in good field position. 14 minutes played first half here at Western Sydney Stadium. From dummy half to Lungy gains a quick 15-20. Garrett gets him 8 metres short of the halfway here. 5 in from the eastern side. Back now to Casey McLean. Runs headlong into Paseka and Wakeham. Metre inside Manly territory. On halfway, they bring it away on the last. The kick from Cleary. Up it goes now for Jason Saab, who will launch for the Seagulls. Bring it down there in the company of Papa Lee and Jenkins, who'll play at 25 out from his own line. 6 all the scoreline here. The Panthers and Seagulls on ABC Sport. It's end-to-end stuff. Very quick so far here. Get some stats shortly as well. While Kobe Hetherington is assessed for his HIA. Comes to Brooks all the way across here now, and now with Falalo, who was the try scorer. 30 out, 20 in western side, and that will play it now for Wakeham. Dummy half. Back across here now for Siwa Takiaho, who was also sin bin last time they met. I mentioned Paul Alamotti. Both binned in separate incidents over a year ago when these sides last met, and now Brooks gains a quick dozen. Metre short of the halfway. Last play, Seagulls. Pass comes to Walsh, who does kick high down there for the wing of Jenkins. And by the time he's claimed, he will be giving the pass, in fact, off to Edwards, and he's set upon 25 out from his own line. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Kobe Hetherington ruled out for the rest of the game. Boys, has been deemed a Category 1 concussion, so his night is over.
It did seem that way, didn't it, MC? And Matt was quick to call that one. Here's Cleary, 30 out on this next play. Tackle 3 for the Panthers. 6 all the scoreline here. The final game of round 9. Comes across from Vlasic to Yo. He's too quick for Takiaho. And now Ben Trebojevic and Takiaho stop him. 5 short of the halfway. 20 in western side now for the Panthers co-captain. It comes across the other one there in Cleary. Now to Lungy. He lost the ball there in a tackle of Olakawatu. And that will be pretty straightforward. Manly Warringah scrum feed. Somewhere near halfway. And they'll take it 20 in from the signal, or will be centre field. It'll be 20 in from the eastern side. And it remains, Matthew Elliott, the Panthers 6, the Sea Eagles 6. 16 minutes played first half.
Yeah, well, our first error in the 16th minute, Brett. And I'll tell you what, this field position will give Manly the opportunity to play some open footy. They've had one, and they've got across the stripe. Let's see if they can get 2 out of 2.
Jodes in Mackay, thank you for your text. Love hearing the team calling this game. Thank you, Jodes, who sent some nice emojis as well. Inside ball from Brooks, who was first receiver from that scrum, and now Takiaho is claimed on halfway here for the Seagulls. Wakeham across for Walsh. To the right they go. Paseka is met by McLean, and the try scorer in Blaze Talangi. 40 out from that northern line. The Seagulls in Panthers territory early on here. They scored the first try of the game through Clayton Falalo before Talangi hit back. Now Walsh through centre field to Brooks. On in turn here to his full-back in Tolotau Kola. And he's wrapped up down there by Garner and Cleary. Play at 20 out. 12 in from the western side. Wakeham back to Brooks. Inside to Takiaho. This is second last. Now the last coming up here for the Seagulls. 11 out left-hand side of the post. Wakeham, open side right. He comes to Walsh. He puts in the kick, but it's a little too deep and guarded dead by Dylan Edwards. So Restart from 20 and 7 tackles for the Pentith Panthers. It's 6 all the scoreline here. 18 gone first half. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, a little too deep there from Joey Walsh. Got to love the confidence that he's shown. He's happy to kick. He's happy to run the ball. He's in everything at the moment for the Sea Eagles. A real focal point of their attack.
Well, Sea Eagles fans were keen to see him since his debut late last year. See him again. And Kieran Foran did say, just be patient. I'm sure he himself has been like a ball at a gate, Matthew, waiting for the opportunity. So he's playing pretty well so far here. 6 all the score on at Western Sydney Stadium. Dummy half Lussick put the tackle here as now Talangi run down from behind by that man Joey Walsh. 5 metres inside Manly territory. It's with Smith for the Panthers. Now Yo off to Leon. I couldn't cop with him through the gap, and he spins through that tackle there of Falalo. 30 out now centre field as it's come from Lussick back to Smith. Back to Talangi on this second last play. He's inside Manly's red zone now. Feeds it back to the offload to Lussick, and he's almost there. He lost the ball with 5 metres left on that run in front of the post. He's lost the footy. It's picked up down there by the Sea Eagles and will be played by their fullback Tolotau Kola. 20 out and 12 in from the western side.
Yeah, Freddie Lussick will be disappointed there, but what about Blaze Talangi? He's just running amok tonight, having a lot of troubles getting him down.
Dion, as always, says, have fun. Enjoy commentating the game tonight. Thank you, Dion. 0467 920 222. More text surely and around the grounds. Flat ball from dummy half. Wakeham finds Lehigh Hopewadi. 6 tries in his past 4 games, including last week against the Eels. Lehigh Hopewadi will play it now, 40 out from his own line. Back here to Siwa Takiaho, and as Michael Carianis mentioned, Heavy Hetherington has failed his HIA to Cat 1 anyway, so he will take no further part in the game. So Paseka will flick pass back to Takiaho, who's just dropped it cold. We didn't see that slick pass coming, and he drops it just over halfway here. So that's where the Panthers will take possession again via a scrum feed. The scoreline is 6 points all here. 19 gone, 21 left in his first half. Matthew Elliott.
Yeah, again, a pretty poor decision. And MC mentioned it earlier about Manly just trying to come up with a little trick plays. When they don't do that and they play direct footy, they're making 50 metres a set. I think they need to have a look at the video of it and go, maybe that's not a bad idea just to keep doing this.
Had a text before as well from Derek and Anne, our usual crew in the top shed in Howard, Queensland. Nice to hear from you. Panthers back on the attack here. Lussick, short side right here for Cleary. Spins the Takiaho tackle, but Brooks gets him. 35 out, 10 in from the western side here on play 2 now for the Panthers. The scoreline is 6 all against the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles as Garner is claimed by Ben Trebojevic. Now Leota, first receiver, off to Isaiah Yo. Got rid of Wakeham. Comes left-hand side to Lungi. Inside ball, Isaiah Papali'i. And taken down there by his opposite number in Olakawatu. He'll play at 20 out, 20 in, eastern side. Lussick, open side right now for Smith on this second last play. Yo feeds it back now for Smith. Back to the left-hand side now for McLean. Little skip and a jump there on Olakawatu. And he's called there by Paseka. 8 metres away from Manly's line, southern end of Western Sydney Stadium. Papali'i dummy half. Fires it across to Talangi. Puts in a kick here. It was stopped there by Olakawatu. Picks up the footy and runs it himself here, gains a 10. And he's 20 out from his own line there. Manly back on the attack with 6 points all at the scoreline. 19 minutes left in this first half on ABC Sport. Ethan Bullimore out there as well for the Sea Eagles. Going to MC shortly as Takiaho brings it up over the 30 here in centre field for Manly Warringah. Play it there for Wakeham. And there is the first run, the first carry there from Ethan Bullimore. Play it 8 metres short of halfway on this second last tackle now for the Sea Eagles. It's about 8 metres for Jake Trebojevic, and the score remains 6 all. Off to Brooks to end the set. High kick down to the wing of Jenkins. He'll launch, so to Saab. Jenkins lost it backwards here. Saab grabs him. The Penrith will start their next set. 8 metres out from their own line, northern end. Edwards runs around, receives that ball from Talangi, and he's brought to ground 20, make it 15 out from his own line as well. Brian To'o, only his second carry of the game. Scored those 3 tries last week. 2 tries last week against Newcastle. Brian To'o. Up over the 40 they go here, the Panthers Played back here, Lussick. Burst out of dummy half, and now Cleary shares it across to Lungy. Couldn't get the pass away as Garrick nailed him. So he'll play it 7 out from halfway. Last play here for the Panthers. The score remains Penrith 6, Manly Warringah 6. Cleary does kick, dribble kick here to the wing, and to McLean can't get there, nor Jenkins. It goes out 25 metres shy of that eastern corner post. So it remains 6 points all, 17 and a half left in the opening 40. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, again, another purposeful kick to that left-hand side of the field. They've obviously identified something, the Pentith Panthers. That's Jason Saab's wing for the Manly Seagulls. It just went in behind Saab, and if it didn't go into touch, it would have been an interesting proposition there for the Panthers. They're about to make their first change. Scott Sorensen has the interchange card.
Go Panthers, says Rowdy Andy. I'll get some more at some stage as well. But it's just end-to-end action here so far, Matthew, as Trbojevic carries it into a 3-man tackle.
Absolutely it is, and it's a really good battle, particularly defensively, with both teams cleaning each other up really well.
Bullimore claim 40 out from Penrith's line here. Manly on tackle 3. Then Trbojevic receives an offload. Now he offloads himself here on the bounce for Luke Brooks. He can dart away here, the veteran 5'8", and now he is collected by Leota and Papali'i. 35 outs in the field. Wakeham. Flat ball finds the young halfback Joey Walsh, and now through the gap, Gary got the pass out wide to Saab, and he sends it back infield. Now it's gathered by Casey McLean. So Jason Saab sent that pass all the way back infield. McLean pounced on that, and the Seagulls couldn't finish. It remains 6 all. 16 left in this first half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Edwards dummies and dragged down from behind now by the Manly defence.
Well, Saab came up with a marky mark play there. He was just going into touch and just flung the ball back in field, and that ended up being quite dangerous if a Penrith player caught that clean.
It was a good pass from Tyler Taukol to go out that wide, but unfortunately the Seagulls just couldn't finish it off. Saab was too quick for his own good. Dummy half Lussick here on the last play for the Panthers. Cleary's kick goes up in the air, and here is Saab, who will launch 20 out from his own line, brought down there. Oh, he was taken in the air, in fact. So penalty Manly in that southern end of Western Sydney Stadium, and it remains 6 points all the scoreline here. Matthew Elliott, 15 and a half left to the break.
Yeah, MC's nailed it. They are kicking down to their left-hand corner continuously, but not as deep as Nathan Cleary would normally kick. They're trying to get Saab to come forward to the ball, so it's obviously a strategic approach to try and force some errors out of Saab.
It's the first penalty of the game, in fact. Goes the Seagulls' way. After the first try of the game, or in fact Penrith's first try of the game, resulted off the back of back-to-back set restarts. So the Seagulls rumble over halfway here. Olakawatu play it. Walsh at dummy half. Shared across through centre field now for Siasiwa Takiyaho. 200 gamer. Comes across left-hand side, Jake Trbojevic, Brooks, and now Ben Trbojevic is collected here by Alamotti. 30 out, 20 in Western side. Tackle 3 now for the Seagulls. 6 points all the scoreline. Brooks on the inside. Links up there with Bullimore. A good post-contact run from him. He is 20 out, dead centre. Wakeham comes left-hand side out of his fullback Kohler. Onto Ben Trbojevic. Takes on Cleary. And now coming across Brian To'o covering him. 10 out, 10 in Western side. Last play Seagulls. Crossfield kick comes from Wakeham. It goes high in the air, launching up down there. It's on the full by McLean in the in goal. So that will be a restart from 27 tackles for the Penrith Panthers. It's 6 points all Panthers Seagulls here at Western Sydney Stadium. 14 left in this first half. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, and now a set restart going the Panthers' way. We'll get Michael Carianis very shortly, as there's been no real sort of time off in this game, which certainly bodes well for us finishing on time broadcast-wise tonight, Matthew. 8 metres short of the halfway, yes?
Well, let's hope so, but Jesse McLean there, that take on the in-goal there was Casey McLean, sorry, goodness, his catch was just magnificent.
Isaiah on play 4. Across they go on that 40-metre line to the right-hand side now with Alamotti. He steps in field. That pass, look forward for Sorensen, and there it is, pulled by Wyatt Raymond before Edwards can blitz out the back of the Sorensen pass. And it remains Penrith 6, Manly 6. Touchline we go, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, great call from Wyatt Raymond, the referee. That happened right in front of me. It was forward. It was a line. It was close, but it was travelled. It was passed forward. So nice call there from the match officials.
Tom says Brooks should partner Cleary in the halves in Origin. He's having a great year. There's a few texts that come here about Sydney gossip and all kinds of things. I have no idea what you're talking about. And this comes through so fast. Gavin in Glebe says, mercifully, we haven't seen much of the Tedesco full moon this season. Yes, mate.
We just got a scrum penalty. I love a scrum penalty. Very rare, but the Panthers got there too late. And this again gives the Seagulls some good field position, just 10 metres short of the halfway line.
Second penalty of the game going the Seagulls' way. Scoreline remains 6-all. Yeah, as Gavin points out, James Tedesco is a serial ducking victim. He's always got his shorts halfway down his legs.
Is it a sponsor thing again?
Could be. We're going to sponsor anyway. I'm sure the Roosters fullback knows how to get some.
Like, is it a razor blade or?
Dummy half Simpkin across the right-hand side of Walsh, off to Olakau'atu. Pass popped out the back here. Saab links up there cleverly with Tola Taukolo, who's dragged towards the eastern touchline. Great work by Tom Jenkins. And that will give Penrith back the ball here, about 5 metres short of halfway. So Penrith 6, Manly 6 with 11:50 left in this first half, Matthew.
I'm quite sure Kieran Ford is going to talk about his players need to play second phase play because it's just not working for them at all, particularly against this Penrith defensive line that holds up, shows so much poise and puts a lot of pressure on the player receiving the offload.
Panthers played, it comes to Brian To'o, and he's enveloped there by 3 Manly defenders on the halfway. 20 in from that western side. It remains Penrith 6, Manly 6 in this final game of round 9. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, Michael Carianis. I'll bring it all to you on ABC Sport. Left-hand side run here for the Panthers and Billy Phillips. Debuted in round 26 last year. He's played, I think, every game since thereabouts. 25 outs in the field. Sorensen plays it for Lussick. Right-hand side now for Cleary. Back to Garner. He cleaned up Brooks in the process, and he'll play it now, Garner. 17 out, right-hand side of the post. Last play, Panthers. Cleary. Crossfield kick, a little shallow. Might be timed well, though. The bat back from McLean. Back to Papali. Now Jenkins. Running the touch by Saab. He got the pass back in the field of play, but it was bounced on by the Seagulls and Garrick, so he'll play it deep in that southeastern corner of Western Sydney Stadium, about 7 metres out from his own line. It remains the Panthers 6, the Sea Eagles 6 with 10:40 left for half-time.
You've got to be really impressed with the Seagulls' defensive attitude as well. The Panthers really threw a fair bit at them in that set. Their structures just stuck together really well.
17 out from that southern line here, Takayao. And he's tackled by Papali'i. Short side right, the pass from Simpkin. Off here to Olakau'atu. He's collected 15 short of his own side of halfway. Off here, Brooks will kick from inside 40 off a step. Goes high and long down to Dylan Edwards. And he returns that kick to 25 out. In fact, he sends the pass wide to To'o. And To'o is legged down there by Lehigh Hopewadi. 30 out, 20 in, western side here in his own half of the ground. So still Penrith 6, the Sea Eagles 6 here on ABC Sport in this final game of round 9. Played centre field there as Lussick was in behind Leota, and now it comes back to Dylan Edwards. Put down by Falalo. Play it 7 short of halfway. Lussick off to Garner. On tackle 4 this time for the Penny Panthers. And Simpkin and Jake Tabuevich grab him. They'll play just inside Seagulls territory. Yo to Cleary. On in turn here to Talangi. Dummies around Garrick, and he's dragged down by the veteran centre. We'll play it now, 35 out. McLean dummy half to Cleary to end the set with this kick. And they'll all launch for this. Up goes Tola Taukolo firstly. Had it ripped away in the air by Jenkins. And it's been really knocked on Manly.
Yeah, well, Jenkins' contest there has left Kohler knocking the ball on. Are they going to contest this? Yes, they are.
Let's have a listen.
Captain Sellers, on-field ruling was kicked on tackle 5, knock on Manly in the contest.
It's going to be an interesting one because obviously the field position that could possibly be surrendered here to Penrith is...
Cleared Penrith, kick chase is onside.
This is Chris Butler in the bunker.
Thomas Jenkins' arms are inside Tolakula's and gets the first touch.
first knock on is against Penrith. The captain's challenge is successful.
There we go. Successful challenge for Manly, and it remains Penrith 6, the Sea Eagles 6 with 9. In fact, it's 9 minutes left in this first half. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, again, they've gone, I think every kick has basically gone to that right-hand side of the Sea Eagles. Jason Saab under enormous pressure on that side of the field. They haven't come here to the Brian Toller, Lehigh Hopewadi matchup at all.
So, Manly possession here on that right-hand side. Olakau'atu stands in the tackle of Billy Phillips and Blaze Talangi. 20 out, 5 in from the eastern side. And now Ruben Garrick stands in the tackle of Isaiah Yeo. On tackle 3 here for the Sea Eagles. Open side left. It remains 6 points all, 8.5 left in this opening 40. On that left edge now, Farlolo scored the first try of the game. He was run down there by Alamotti. And he'll play it now. Back to Ben Trebojevic. He escaped the tackle of Alamotti, and the youngest Trebojevic will now play it on halfway, 20 in from the western side. On this last play now, Simpkin links up with Walsh, left foot kicker. He goes high down towards that 10-metre line. There is Jenkins. Little step as he starts his run there into Jake Trebojevic, and he's claimed 25 out, 20 in from the eastern side. 7:50 left. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, Michael Carianis. That's in this first half anyway at Western Sydney Stadium. It remains Penrith 6, Manly 6. Played back there by Casey McLean. On to Brian To'o. And low on the tackle was Bullymore. And now he comes back now. Simpkins been busy in defence as well. Tries again on Edwards. And now Jake Trebojevic stops Edwards, who play it 2 metres short of the halfway. Lussick dummy half off to Isaiah Yeo. Second last play, Penrith. Cleary, Papali'i, and now Talangi. Options out wide. It's with McLean. And he shoves it back there awkwardly for Talangi. Might work out though. Goes wide to Jenkins. He's got 20 to go. And he was ankle tapped down there by Walsh. Throws intercept for Jason Saab. And the Seagulls are away, at least momentarily, before Saab was stopped by Talangi. So a chaotic little period there for both sides. Manly come up with possession here. 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. 7 minutes left. It remains 6-all the scoreline, Matthew Elliott.
Oh, do you think it was Jenkins passing it back into Saab because he did one down the other end of the field, nearly exactly the same? I'll tell you what, Blaze Talangi, I've mentioned it a few times, down that left-hand side is causing chaos for the Manly defensive line.
35 out from that southern line here. The Seagulls in their own half. It's with Bullymore. Defeating earlier Kobe Hetherington, a Category 1 HIA, so take no further part in this game from quite early on when he just hit the hip of Isaiah Yeo. His tackling techniques. The end of the set, Edwards returns the kick here to about 23 out from his own line at northern end. Panthers 6, Sea Eagles 6 remains our scoreline. Tries to Clayton Failalo and Blaze Talangi. And as they swing it wide to that left-hand side, Talangi sets up at dummy half here behind Jenkins. Finds Papali'i. Centre field run here for him. Gains only about 8 or 9 metres. Play at 35 out now for the Panthers. Edwards on to Sorensen. And Brooks and Ben Trebojevic and Simpkin there to greet him. 5 metres short of the halfway. Played by Sorensen. Last hit comes back to the right-hand side now. Cleary shares it with Garner on that edge. And now Garner stands in the Jake Trebojevic tackle. 5 inside Seagulls territory. Last play, Panthers. Cleary puts up the kick. It'll spin back there through the air and launching. Oh, it's almost, Tolotak Collar recovered on the way down. Just almost lost it into the Panthers oncoming. And now Lehigh Hopewadi as well with a quick 10-metre dash. 30 out from his own line. Played there to Brooks. Trying to bring it away here again, the fullback, Tolotau Kola. 40 out this time with the Seagulls on play 4 as Simpkin directs it left-hand side now for Brooks. And he's run aground there by Alamotti and Yeo, metre short of the halfway. Simpkin on the second last play here for the Seagulls finds Takiao, and he hits the deck there in the tackle of Scott Sorensen. Played back for Simpkin. Last play Manly as Brooks' kick goes up to the 40-metre line. Edwards sets himself, launches, escapes Ben Trebojevic for a second, and then Trebojevic, oh no, it's going to be a high tackle. I don't know if it was Ben or Jake who had the more sort of forceful contact high on Dylan Edwards, but it's going to be penalty going Penrith's way, and it remains a scoreline of 6 points all with 4:45 left in this first half. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, Ben Trebojevic has been placed on report for that high tackle on Dylan Edwards. It was just lazy. It was not much of a kick, but it was a decent chase from the Seagulls, but they just put themselves under pressure. This match had gone into a bit of an arm wrestle, and it looked like Manly were getting on top in terms of momentum, but they've just gifted Penrith Penrith a golden opportunity late in this first half.
Penalty count 2-1 Manly so far. Score remains 6 points all. Isaiah, the inside ball here now for Billy Phillips, a young Panther. Play at 35 out. Get to your text at half time. Cleary across to Isaiah Papali, and Walsh goes low on the tackle. Up top, Garrick will stop eventually. 27 out and about 15 in from the eastern side. Lusk across to Cleary. Across the line now for Sorensen, now Edwards, and Brooks got him immediately on play 4 now for the home side, the Panthers. Right-hand side, Cleary. A little step there on Takiao. Bullymore collars him. 15 out centre field. Last play for the Panthers. 6 points all the scoreline against Manly. Lussick to Yo, to Lungy. He kicks, goes really nowhere. And it was it knocked forward by Takiao? That's what White Roman's saying. It was going to be...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Tried to pick it up one-handed.
That looks shocking from CSC like Takiao. So it's as simple as that. Will be a Penrith scrum feed. About 12 metres out from that southern line, to which they are attacking, with 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first half, Matthew Ellis.
So what you do, mate, is you dive on the ball. You don't try and pick it up one-handed against Penrith inside your own 10-metre area.
Comes open side right here, Edwards off to Cleary, and now Alamotti, wrapped up by Clayton Falolo. And he'll play it now, 10 out, 10 in from the western side. Cleary, open side left now for Luke Garner. He bounced off Simpkin, and this is play 2 for the Panthers, so he's 5 minutes shy. It's going to be a set restart too, so repeat ball here, a full set, 5 out from Manly's line. Cleary, wide to To'o, who says thank you very much, and flies into the corner and puts the Panthers in front as we approach half-time. 10-6, kick to come, Penrith. Brian To'o, the try scorer, with 2.5 minutes on the clock.
Well, MC said it. You can't give away field position to a team of this quality, and they go down the short side, their right-hand short side, play at the back, and Brian To'o gets the ball off Nathan Cleary. Who else would you want it from? At the back of Dylan Edwards, across the face of Alamotti, and wow, what a pass. And, well, as soon as he caught the ball, you knew what was going to happen.
Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, really poor defensive read there from Lehigh Hopper wide. He got brought in, and there was no need. They had the numbers there, evenly matched the Seagulls' left-hand side defence, but he just bit off, and Nathan Cleary identified that through that pass to Brian To'o, and Brian To'o, pretty easy try for the winger.
Yeah, his 6th try on the year so far. I mentioned a couple of tries he scored against the Newcastle Knights last week. As Michael mentioned, he's one of a bunch of those Penrith players, and there's some intrigue surrounding what he will do beyond next season. Whether he joins his best mates Jerome Luai at PNG Chiefs in 2028. So we'll see a kick here from Nathan Cleary as the seconds tick down to half-time. He'll convert from the western side, or attempt to convert from the western sideline here, 20 metres out. I'll get to your text shortly, 0467920222, and around the grounds is the AFL getting underway shortly on the Gold Coast. I'll get to it, Michael. Gold Coast Suns and the GWS Giants. It's just gone full-time A-League Women First Leg semi-final. Brisbane Roar 2, Wellington Phoenix 1. So it's the one around the grounds of the AFL. But here, all eyes on Nathan Cleary. Recent 200-gamer to make it a 12-6 Penrith scoreline here. It's got a minute left in this first half. Brings it around superbly. That's a gorgeous looking kick for goal. Nathan Cleary has 2 from 2 tonight. It is Penrith 12, Manly Warringah 6 here on NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. The final game of round 9. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott and Michael Carianis.
Yeah, I'm just still reflecting on Siwa Takiaho there and his decision to try. They just defended 2 sets in a row against the Panthers. They got a poor kick on last play. Just dive on the ball. You get yourself to the other end of the field. As Michael Carianis shared, you can't afford to give Penrith field position at all.
So Eagles kick us back off. Comes down here to Sorensen, who hits it up there off Takiaho and also Bullymore. Play at 15 out from that northern line. Isaiah is standing in the tackle of Takiyaho and Jake Boyovich. A peel off now. Lussick dummy half with 38 seconds left to half time here at Western Sydney Stadium. Penrith 12, Manly 6 is our scoreline here. Lussick dummy half, open side left, kick from Cleary from behind the 40. It'll bounce down there. Todd's out. Cole! Oh, he's knocked it on. 15 seconds left of the break. Only 15 metres out from his own line. So they'll set the scrum quickly here, the Panthers. Wyatt Raymond blows time off. 11 seconds left here. One more opportunity for the Penrith Panthers.
I'm wondering what Nathan Cleary will do here. Does he go for a field goal, or do they go for the big meat pie?
So he's not quite positioned field goal wise. He's on the angle. He does go for the field goal though. 22 metres out here, and he nails it. No, he misses it. He misses. So it's still 12-6, and that is the half-time hooter here at Western Sydney Stadium.
You're right, he did nail it. He nailed the kick and went into the crowd, but it missed.
Yeah. Well, I would argue his objective was to get it through the post, which he didn't.
It was
do.
behind.
I couldn't tell from here, but yeah.
MC's got the one flag up.
And it wasn't the same as when you're watching them kick for to win the game. They're all celebrating. There was no celebration anyway. So anyway, it remains the Panthers 12, the Sea Eagles 6, after an enthralling and intense first half here at Western Sydney Stadium. We saw tries to Clayton Fa'alalo after 4 minutes, and then Blaise Talangi in the 10th minute, followed by it was a 6-all deadlock for a long time before Brian Tuttle crossed in those last few minutes before half time. The product of a fantastic pass from Nathan Cleary. So Cleary also kicking 2 from 2. Ruben Garrick 1 from 1. It is our 12-6 scoreline. Matthew Elliott, your thoughts? That button right there.
It's a red one, yeah. It was a real tough contest in that first half, and Manly deserved the points they got. Again, we've had so many high-scoring games in recent times, but it's just been like a lot of midfield play. Manly came up with a great try early, but they gave Penrith their points, and you just can't afford to give this side. They're not on top of the competition by mistake. You give them opportunities, they'll take it.
So across that first half, 54% possession for the Panthers, who had 79% completion. The Seagulls 78% completion rate, but far less of the ball, relatively speaking. They had 5 fewer sets overall. 3 line breaks to 2. Penalty count 2-1 Manly. Ruck infringements 3-1 Penrith's way, and Ben Trebojevic on report for a high shot in that first half as well. Michael Carianis, your thoughts from close range?
Yeah, entertaining first half where neither side really had the ascendancy, and we've seen ebbs and flows and a flurry of points in games so far this year. That wasn't evident in this first half. I think the Seagulls just got a little bit loose coming out of their own end, and a little bit too advantageous. I think they just got to rocket up the field a little bit more, because they were able to build a little bit of pressure, and Joey Walsh taking the ball to the line looked really dangerous, but a couple of their offloads put themselves under unnecessary pressure. As for the Panthers, well, they'll just take that points late, won't they, after not their greatest opening 40 minutes, but they're still leading at half time.
Thank you, Michael. More from you in the second half as well. The Panthers 12, the Sea Eagles 6 here for the final game of round 9, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Your text 0467 920 222. Brian from the Tweed says the flower moon is just rising behind a bank of thick clouds. Strange things might occur. With a little sort of devil emoji. A bit like your ghost actions you were doing here a few weeks ago, Matt, on Easter Monday.
Just let it go.
Zach says, sorry boys, radio cut out, and I don't know if you read my text or not. Can you please repeat a question that's on my mind lately? Do you think that Jamal Fogarty leaving is the reason that the Raiders aren't doing so well this year? Please let me know your response. Proud Raiders man, Zach, up the mill. Give us your response, Matthew. What do you reckon about it?
I definitely feel like they're missing Jamal Fogarty, no doubt, but I can understand why they gave Jamal the opportunity to leave, because the talent they've got coming through will just require a little bit of patience. The Raiders will play their best footy in the second half of the season. I've got zero doubt about that.
How good is AM radio? Haven't had to change the channel from Cowra to Spring Ridge. Also, up Cronulla, says Jake. Thank you, Jake. Hi, boys. Loving the call. Always great. Hi. Say hi to Matthew E. Remember you from Central State School. All the best, Steve-O. Remember Steve-O from Central State School?
I absolutely do remember Steve-O from Central State School. Played footy.
Adam from Wangaratta says, any update on Jack Wyden's injury? Yeah, they were saying it was a broken arm, I think was a suspicion, wasn't it, earlier? I'll see if we get more from...
Yeah, he'll need to get x-rays to get that validated. But, you can't say, look at someone and go, you got a broken arm.
Why did you refer to White Raymond as the bin chicken at the start of the game? Look, the refs have nicknames. I'm not sure how well known that one is, but he's called the bin chicken by his referee colleagues, which I'm not one, so I don't know why I called him that, but...
Well, I'm
aware of the nickname.
What's that mean?
The bin chicken, the sacred ibis. Well, he's sort of quite tall and he's got the long legs and, I don't know, he's kind of bin chicken-esque in some ways. Rowdy Andy says...
Why not just call him the ibis?
Who are these veterans you keep calling? They're not that old. I did call Ruben Garrick a veteran. He's 28. As I said it, I thought, is he that old? No, he's only 28, so he's not veteran. Post-30 is probably veteran.
Are you a veteran?
I'm post-30, so yeah, I suppose. Not in broadcasting terms.
Does that make me, underline exclamation mark in bold, veteran?
Someone says Jamal Fogarty's quiet tonight. There's a reason for that. It's because he's not playing. He's got the groin injury, and that's why Joey Walsh is out there at halfback for the Seagulls, who trail here at the hands of Penrith, 12 points to 6. Earlier today, Newcastle beat South by 42 points to 38 in an 80-point thriller at Hunter Stadium. So 42 to 38 the scoreline there, and at Shark Park, Cronulla Sutherland 52 beat West Tigers 10. Luke Lewis gave 3 points to Braden Trendle, 2 to Teague Wilton, who scored a hat-trick, and 1 point to Cale Iro, who also scored a hat-trick for the Sharks in that 52 to 10 rout over West Tigers. Here it's Penrith 12, Manly 6. Back with more shortly. Right now, it's time for ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The Prime Minister appears to be paving the way to break an election promise and overhaul property tax breaks in this month's budget. The government ruled out changes to negative gearing at last year's election, but is widely expected to tighten the tax break in the May 12 budget. Cabinet is also finalising plans to rework the 50% capital gains tax discount and increase taxes on family trusts. In an interview with the ABC, Anthony Albanese said the government is focused on helping younger Australians to own their own homes.
I want Australia to be a land of opportunity for the future. And the truth is that young people feel like they're not getting a fair crack at the moment. So any changes that we put in the budget, or indeed while we're in government, will be very much focused on those principles.
Donald Trump says he's still waiting for the exact wording of a peace proposal from Iran, but has warned there's still the possibility of the US restarting strikes on the country if Tehran misbehaves. Ali Crew has more.
The US president says he's been told about the concept of a deal with Iran, but added on his social media channel that he could not imagine the proposal would be acceptable and warned that Iran had not paid a big enough price for what it had done. A senior Iranian official says the proposal would open shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and end the US blockade of Iran while leaving talks on Iran's nuclear program for later. It comes as Mr. Trump told reporters today that the US blockade of Iranian ports was very friendly and also very profitable.
We're selling a lot of oil.
Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghaei has urged the international community not to normalise what he calls blatant violations of international law.
An Australian activist who joined a flotilla attempting to deliver aid to Gaza claims that he and his crewmates endured a violent and distressing ordeal in Israeli custody. Eliza Getzi reports.
Zach Schofield was one of 3 Australians taken to hospital on Friday after being released by Israeli authorities on the Greek island of Crete. They'd spent up to 40 hours detained on an Israeli ship after it intercepted the global Samud flotilla in international waters. Mr. Schofield says he was dragged by his hair and witnessed at least 10 fellow crew members being heavily beaten and some people shot by rubber bullets at point-blank range. The ABC has not independently verified his claims, and Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has denied any of the flotilla's passengers were mistreated, saying all use of force was in direct response to violence and physical resistance.
A man has been charged over an alleged triple murder at a family home in Sydney southwest. Emergency services were called to a Rosemeadow home early this morning where police discovered the bodies of a 65-year-old mother and 25-year-old son. A 64-year-old man was taken to hospital with critical head injuries and later died, while a 30-year-old man was treated for minor injuries. A 32-year-old man, also a member of the family, has been charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder. He's been refused bail and will face Campbelltown Local Court tomorrow. The Victorian opposition leader says she's well aware of rising voter disillusionment with the major parties, despite her party winning the European by-election yesterday. The Liberals comfortably fended off challengers from One Nation, the Greens and Independents in the Mornington Peninsula seat. With 80% of votes counted, One Nation has received almost a quarter of the primary vote. Liberal leader Jess Wilson says people have been direct with her about their voting decisions.
The conversations I had with people were firmly about the sense that politicians in particular are not representing them. They're consistently spinning, they're consistently saying everything's going to be okay, making big promises and failing to deliver.
Surf lifesavers say a dead whale towed into Wollongong, south of Sydney, for disposal on Friday attracted 16 sharks into local waters. The National Parks and Wildlife Service operation saw a 25-tonne carcass towed from the Royal National Park to Bellambi boat ramp by a contractor on Friday morning. Surf Lifesaving Illawarra's Anthony Turner says the agency was alerted by fishermen who called just before 11 in the morning to say the whale was in the water at Bellambi. He says 8 sharks were seen in 1 hour and more gathered across the weekend, prompting them to evacuate and close beaches.
Some of them were only 50 to 100 metres offshore, so there was reports yesterday morning at 6:30 there was a 3.5 metre tiger shark circling the jetty boat ramp at Bellambi boat ramp, which is quite concerning.
ABC News.
She's gotten worse. Lots of anger.
Ursula Carlson, No Filters, brand new comedy.
Contracted early onset Karen.
Ursula, streaming now on ABC iView.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Jake Trbojevic angles his run here inside 20 Northern End, and he stands in the tackle of Lindsay. They're busy in defence so far. Smith for the Panthers. Comes to Brooks. On here to the corner. It comes now through the gap to Falalo, and he is in to score the try. The Seagulls strike first at Western Sydney Stadium. Back from Lussick to Cleary to Edwards. Right edge they go as he spins to the Brooks tackle Edwards. And he will play it here, tackle 4. Panthers trail 6-0 at the hands of Manly early on. Cleary to Isaiah Yeo across the goal mouth. It comes now to Langy. He dummies, and now he beats Walsh for speed. Goes in and scores the try. And the Panthers do respond. He's 5 minutes shy. It's going to be a set restart too. So repeat ball here. A full set 5 out from Manly's line. Cleary wide to To'o, who says thank you very much. And flies into the corner and puts the Panthers in front as we approach half-time.
Do you love rugby league?
ABC Sports coverage of the NRL Premiership on your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio,
and ABC Listen.
Yes, indeed. We have just 1 half of footy left in round 9 here at Western Sydney Stadium. It's the Panthers 12, the Sea Eagles 6. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Matthew Elliott and Michael Carianis. Earlier, Newcastle beat South Sydney and the Sharks far too strong for West Tigers at Shark Park. We'll recap all that in our post-game wash-up in about an hour from now. 0467 920 222. Greg says, good evening, gents. Brilliant call. Thank you for giving me sound and painting pictures for me with your commentary. Go Manly. Love my Manly, love my ABC calls. Thanks, guys. Tony, thank you, Tony, for your text. Gibbsy's still trying to teach me about the moon from Imaginary Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Come on, Manly, says Jim in Griffith. Ed from Gundarimba, Northern Rivers, New South Wales. Finishing a weekend in my favourite way, listening to my ABC live NRL coverage. Looking forward to a good game. Have a great call for the Eagles in their 80th year. Gromsy says, Spriggy, Matthew, MC, loving the call as always. Panthers to fly home. About to start a blue and yellow flat pack with the misses. We've got to turn the volume up. Thank you, Grimesy. A big good day to our mate Knuckles and all the family in Newcastle. Go your Eagles. Sandy and stretch in Yamungari. And Paul in Wollongong says Panthers doing what they do best, capitalise on any mistake just before half-time and score, as they did with Brian Toll, as you heard there in the highlights. Brian from Burleigh Heads, great call. How appropriate is it that Joey Walsh plays for the Seagulls and Joe Walsh was a member of the Eagles, Brian? Well, there might be a heartache tonight for the Seagulls if they can't turn this around. It's only 12-6 the scoreline. Thank you, Brian from Burleigh Heads. Christy, the Russell Island Dragon, says, it's funny, this is the first round this year where I have enjoyed every game. Laughing emoji, of course, the Dragons having had the bye in round 9. So
we got 2 points.
No stress for the, Brendan the Garbo in Shell Harbour says, 160 points in 2.5 matches. Super Sunday indeed. Go Panthers. Thank you, Brendan. And the Reverend Rooster says, approaching 400 total points for the round. That scores probably the same number of the total tackles. Thank you, Reverend Rooster. Thank you those who have sent texts. Neil says, does Briggy seem a little combative towards you this evening, Matthew? Do I seem combative?
Or that you did dip the shoulder into me.
That was more of an affectionate bear hug.
Got your head on the wrong side. You should go for a HIA, mate.
Well, mercifully.
You're a Category 1.
Well, thankfully for me, there's no HIA, no Category 1. The listeners might be hoping there will be the case. But it's Penrith 12, Manly 6. Get to MC shortly on resumption in this second half. You can keep your text coming, 0467 920 222, and we'll recap round 9 and look ahead to round 10. Don't forget NRL Monday tomorrow evening as well with Andrew Moore, and I think it's Connor Watson joining him for tomorrow night's show as well, which you can find via the ABC NRL Daily podcast feed later on as well. So Panthers 12, Sea Eagles 6, and Manly have things back on their terms here. Garrick kicks it down towards that southern goal line, and it's Sorensen brings it back into that welcoming committee of Dan Trebojevic, Siwa Takiaho and Ethan Bullymore. 15 out from their own line here as the pass is spun wide to Paul Alamotti. His only try was in round 4 against Parramatta. So it's the one try so far this year for Paul Alamotti. Comes back through centre field now here again as Phillips brought to the ground by Joey Walsh, and he'll play at 25 out. Comes to the left-hand side, Papa Leahy, and Takiaho collects him on that right edge Sea Eagles defence. It is tackle 4 now for Penrith. Dummy half Lussick, low pass to Isaiah Yeo, and he's dragged back there by Ben Trebojevic. It will be held, the call there from Wyatt Raymond. 5 short of the halfway. Last play, Panthers, kick from Cleary, high in the air, down towards that far wing. It is the fullback who gets there in Tolotau Kola and carries it back into the defensive line, where he's greeted by Phillips and also Lussick. 25 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Here goes Lehigh Hopewadi on tackle 2. Play it now 30 out. Short side left, the pass from Brooks at dummy half. Again wide, where Brian To'o and Nathan Cleary and Luke Garner make the tackle on Clayton Fala'o. The first try scorer in the game, as you heard in the highlights. And now Ben Trebojevic again. Tackled 5 metres short of the halfway here for the Sea Eagles. Comes across here, Simpkin dummy half. And now again up over the halfway line, Isaiah Yeo and Isaiah Papali'i drag down Takiaho. Brooks will close the set with a high kick down towards the wing of To'o. Among those first half try scorers, and To'o steps on his own 10-metre line here. Gets away from Fala'o, still going To'o. Runs into Brooks, goes to fend on him, dragged back from behind there by Simpkin. But To'o is 40 out from his own line. So a good gain from that high ball from the winger, Brian To'o, and the Panthers are back deep in attack.
Yeah, well, he's certainly not the wing you want to be kicking to on early plays. I'd be going to Jenkins if I was them. While he's great under the high ball, not quite as potent bringing it back.
Centre field burst here from Jenkins. Up inside Seagulls territory on play 3. It's still Panthers 12, Manly 6. No change to our half-time scoreline here at Western Sydney Stadium. Lussick to the right-hand side, Cleary. Lamotti could have tipped it out wide there, but took the tackle in there of Lehigh Hopewadi. It's last play Panthers. Booty out, hit in eastern side. Cleary just bombs it high and wide across the post here on that last play. On the chest of Jason Saab, and the Seagulls winger will play at 10 out from his own line. Let's go back to the touchline. Michael Carianis.
Yeah, they started fast the second half. The Penrith Panthers. The test is going to be for the Seagulls. Can they they maintain or match that level of intensity that the Panthers have started this second half with.
Joey Walsh, dummy half. Back to Jason Saab, who was warned about heading the ball last week. You might have seen, Matthew. There was not quite a rule change, but a reminder that you cannot just head the ball deliberately, at least, in rugby league. 20 out 20 in eastern side. Dummy half Simpkin off to Brooks. Now back on the inside for Tolotau Kola. And now he's playing 35 out and in from the eastern side.
I like it. I think we should allow it. It sort of brings another dimension.
Well, it changed all the rules. We may as well bring in heading the ball, soccer style. Last play here, the kick goes down to Dylan Edwards, and the Panthers are back on the attack via their fullback, who is tackled 6 metres short of the halfway, 20 in from the eastern side. 3.5 minutes played here in this second half, and you are with Brett Sprigg, former player and coach Matthew Elliott, and Elliott Sunday Telegraph's Michael Carianis. On halfway here, Jenkins plays it there for Lussick. Across to his left now for Casey McLean, and he's going to play it now 40 out, 20 in. Lussick, flat ball from dummy half for Cleary, on in turn to Sorensen, left it behind. Knock on there for Sorensen. So it'll be Manly's ball, 35 out from their own line, Matthew.
I'm not saying Nathan Cleary's playing bad tonight, but he's not having the same impact as we've seen early in this season. I don't think he's really dummied and taken the line on maybe once in the whole game, and that's when he's at his most threatening. And at the moment, he's just sitting there playing with poise, but not really being a threat carrying the ball at all.
Burls and the Wiz cheering on together. Let's go Manly. Thank you, Burls and the Wiz. Great to hear from all kinds of people on ABC Sport. 0467 920 222. Bullymore is wrapped up down there by Lussick. Will play it here, 40 outs in the field. Simpkin will swing all the way across now for Jake Trbojevic. He's playing his 249th NRL game, so milestone of 250 next week for Jake Trbojevic. And now 40 out from Penrith's line here is where Brooks is tackled and playing it. Simpkin open side right to Takiaho. Walsh off to Olakau'atu through the gap. Back on the inside now for Bullymore, who explodes away and scores onto the posts. The Seagulls strike first in this second half. Ethan Bullymore scores the try. 12-10, kick to come Manly inside these first 6 minutes of the second 40, Matthew.
Yeah, well, what about the young Joey Walsh there? Goes to the line. He's definitely playing out the back to Kola. No, he's not. He hits Olakau'atu short. Bullymore backing up through the centre of the field. You can't be 2 games into your NRL career and come up with plays like that. It's just not allowed.
Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Outstanding play there. And you talked a bit earlier, Matty, around Nathan Cleary and that poor pass to Scott Sorensen, and Sorensen fumbled the ball, allowed the Seagulls to get on the attack. And then you look at what this youngster has done on the other side of the field. Beautiful ball for Hamoli Olakau'atu. And Olakau'atu does well with the inside man, Ethan Bullymore, pushing up to score the try.
It's his 15th career try, Ethan Bullymore, and his first of this new campaign, relatively new campaign. We're at round 9. Final game of it. Ruben Garrick directly in front. 1 from 1 so far this evening to level things up at 12 points all. And he does just that. Garrick 2 from 2. It's the Panthers 12, the Seagulls 12 here. NRL Sunday concludes on ABC Sport. There is still, though, 33 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, and again, the Panthers just need to get back in the rhythm. They're actually dominating possession. They've had 10% more possession, sitting at 55%. And I thought they were just starting to squeeze the life out of the Manly team. 1 error, and wow, some brilliance. I'm really excited about seeing how Joey Walsh develops as an NRL half.
Aaron asks, when in the try-scoring motion, if it accidentally hits a player's head, is it still a try? Well, was that just under the Falcon rule? Accidental would be...
Accidental's fine, but yeah. I'm pretty sure Saab's...
No, that's what I'm saying. No, you're exactly right. So we're just sort of getting...
How do you tell?
You can never be too sure of these interpretations, can you, in modern footy?
No.
As Simpkins swings it across here again now to Olakau'atu. They had a hand in that try from Ethan Bullymore. Set up that try for Bullymore a short time ago. The Seagulls levelling things up at 12 points all. Simpkin comes short side right. Walsh again that same side of the field. Garrick, though, is put down with a strong tackle by Casey McLean. He'll play it 40 out, 10 in from the western side. Open side left here. A little stepping run from Siwa Takiaho, and he'll play it now 5 short of the halfway. Last play Seagulls. Simpkin across to Brooks, who will end the set with a high left foot kick. down towards Lord Edwards, stationed about 13 out from his own line. The Panthers fullback, long pass across for To'o, and clever step there on Ben Trebojevic, who's brought the ground over by the Jake. Play at 30 out 20 in eastern side now for the Panthers. 12 points all here, 7.5 gone in this second half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Alamighty will play it now. Lussick open side left now for Jenkins. Tackled by Olakau'atu. Play it 5 short of the halfway. Lussick back now again now for Billy Phillips. So they've used so far Scott Sorensen and Billy Phillips off the bench. Just the two players, the Panthers, Cleary and Class in close quarters here. Back to that man in Ghana. Play it for Lussick. Running kick from Cleary on this last tackle. And up it goes. Launching. Oh, it's been lost again down there by Toa Taukola. It's going to be 6 more Penrith. Flick pass from Lussick goes out over the eastern touchline.
Yeah, but it's touched by a Manly player while the flick pass was made. So it'll be a Penrith play the ball with 10 metres out from the try line. Kohler, you can't afford to make errors like that.
Made a couple tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, and you know, I know it's a tough position to play fullback, but you know, they're fundamentals that you can't afford to not make.
It was touched by Brooks on the way through, as you said, Matty. So Penrith ball here, 10 out from Manly's line, all end of Western Sydney Stadium. 12 points all the score line. The Panthers go back ahead. Dummy half Lussick, and he finds Billy Phillips. 3-man tackle stops him. 6 metres shy, directly in front of the post, Northern end. Lussick off to Cleary. Inside ball, Papali'i takes on Takiaho and Jake Trebojevic. Third man in goes Simpkin, who joins the line now as it's rolled back for Lussick. Off to Sorensen, now Cleary, wide to Edwards. Options in the corner he goes, beats one tackle. He's slowed down there. Ben Trebojevic gets him. Edwards will now play it on that far side for Lussick. The kick from dummy half, played out by Manly, and now it's been lost by Ben Trebojevic. White Raymond saying he's getting clarification from the bunker.
Luke, you're on report.
Oh,
Dylan, be respectful.
Brooks on report.
I'm not sure what that was for, but there was an offside of Manly players.
That's why it's Penrith's ball here. 15 out, 5 back from their own, from that northern line. So here they go. 12 points all the score line. Panthers deep in attack. Lussick across to Sorensen. And he steps into Jake Trebojevic, 8 metres out, dead centre. Lussick goes left-hand side to Cleary. Now Isaiah Papali'i, he can't offload as he's felled down there by Hamoli Olakau'atu. Play it now, 6 metres out from that northern line. Cleary off here to Sorensen. Catch and a run and not quite there. The Perth-bound Scott Sorensen. He'll play it 5 out in front of the post. Lussick on the right-hand side now. Cleary off to Garner. Great desperate tackle by Clayton Fa'alalo. Hand in the air from White Raymond. Last play Penrith. Lussick to Cleary. Puts in the kick here for Papali'i. But I reckon, was he there first? Just Taukola to knock it dead? No. It's been knocked dead by the Panthers. So it will be. We're going to restart the 7 tackles for, or just the 6 tackles, I beg your pardon, for the Seagulls. Booty out from their own line now. A little run to start there with Jason Saab. It's still 12 points all. 11 gone in this second half on ABC Sport. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, Luke Brooks was placed on report for a trip on Dylan Edwards earlier in that set. So that's the issue there for Luke Brooks.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Was it knocked on or tapped dead down there by the... He's a set of tackles set after all for Manly. Anyway, rolled back here by Nathan Brown. So he's come off the bench as well for the Seagulls. And now 25 out from that southern line is where they are positioned. With a set restart in this set as well. It's back to Nathan Brown. In fact, no, it's the last. The tackle counts on the scoreboard's not working properly. Kick goes from Brooks deep to the corner here for Saab. Launches up there with Jenkins. It bobbles around there. It was knocked on by Manly first.
Yeah, Saab knocked it on when he was in the air, so Penrith will get play the ball 10 metres out from the try line, but can we just salute the great defensive set that Manly came up with the set before, and that was, an error, play 1.
There they go. So, swung back here for Olakau'atu, who ploughs toward the line. He's not quite there. Metre out from Penrith's line. Chance of more points, the Seagulls. So, the full set here on Penrith's southern goal line. 5 out from the uprights. Played by Takiaho. Across now to Brooks. He dummies. Steps off Cogger, and now Walsh is stopped by Phillips. 7 metres shy of that southern line in front of the post. Simpkin dummy half here through the gap. Brown feeds Olakau'atu. He stands in a 3-man tackle. He'll play it 2 metres shy of Penrith's line. 12 points, all the scoreline here at Western City Stadium. It's fired the pass left-hand side and hit Bullymore, and he's claimed. Just in front of the padding on the right-hand upright. Simpkin back now to Brown, and now Walsh to the left-hand side. They strip the numbers now. It goes to the left-hand side, and Olakau'atu can fly through the air and score the try for the Seagulls. So they're back in front. 16-12, kick to come, Manly. 13 minutes played, second half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Matthew Elliott.
Yeah, well, a great shift from one side of the field to the other, and the Penrith defence was right up in their face. So we're just seeing a replay of that knock on there that was 100% right. But gee, there was just some great shift to their left-hand side. And again, their hands are just perfect. I've got to say, Luke Brooks is probably some of the best play I've seen him come up with in a couple of years there. The poise he showed there just to turn the corner and create the space on the outside was perfect.
Touchline, Michael Carianis.
That last pass from Tolu Kola was forward. But obviously the bunker can't rule on that. They're going to look at an obstruction, a lead runner obstruction that they're going to have a look at as well. As Isaac Pungo, who actually spilt the ball. He'd been on the field for, I'm telling you boys, 10 seconds. He'd rush from the sideline to get on the field to make that first carry. He's actually playing right edge back row for Lucana.
Listen,
I disagree, but they're going through the process.
as Michael mentioned, having a look
And it
here.
had no bearing on the try being scored. I'll explain after.
They're clearly having a chat there to White Ravens. So the Panthers have used Cogger, Sorensen, Phillips and Tungo off the bench.
It's confirmed, you can reset. Yeah, but it wasn't confirmed yet.
So just, I think, Ruben Garrick, though, he can reset the ball on the tee. 25 metres out here, right on that eastern touchline at Western Sydney Stadium. So, the Seagulls lead 16-12. Ruben Garrick can make it 18-12.
I think they were looking at that earlier possible knock-on, but that was 2 plays earlier, so they can't go back to that.
Garrick winds up the kick. He's 2 from 2 so far. He misses this one right across the face. So it's a 4-point lead Manly Warringah's way with 25 minutes left still in this game. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Matthew Elliott, Michael Carianis here. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Jim and Griffith, thank you for your text again. Ed says, just home to Coonabarabran after a weekend in Orange. Loving the call. This is the only time I wish the drive was longer so I could finish the game in the car. Go Manly. Thank you, Ed, for your text. Around the grounds, by the way, in the AFL on the Gold Coast, the Gold Coast Suns 13 leads the GWS Giants 1. It's of course, the May Day public holiday eve in Queensland, so that's why there's a Sunday night sporting event there in Queensland. Here at Western City Stadium, it's the Seagulls 16, Penrith 12, as Nathan Brown charges back into that defensive line. Get out from his own line. Dunny half Simpkin. Off here again now for Jason Saab. So it remains 16 points to 12 after that try to Lehigh Hopewadi. Dummy half Simpkin. All of a sudden the Seagulls have their tails up here. Almost spilled down there on the 30-metre line by that man Bullymore. Reminder, of course, they lost Hetherington to a Cat 1 HIA in the first half. Brown plays it back for Simpkin. Brooks will kick 40 out from his own line and goes down towards about 15 out from Penrith's line, which is where Jenkins darts back into Olakau'atu and Walsh in there. 20 out, 20 in Western side here at Western Sydney Stadium, where Manly leads 16 points to 12 over Penrith. A clean tackle down, centre field run. Rolls it back for Cogger. His 100th NRL game tonight. And now tackled 30 out To'o. Play it there for Cogger. He finds Edwards. Pass that wide for Cleary. Now Alamotti. Too quick for Fala. Olakau'atu as well. Grabbed the waistband there of Alamotti and affected a pass out over the eastern touchline.
No, Hopewadi actually knocks this down, so I think this will be a Penrith feed. No, I was wrong.
The pass from Alamotti simply went to no one. Oh, hang on. Looked like it was knocked down by the Seagulls.
I thought it was, and that was what took it into touch.
On the replay, it looked a bit more obvious, but alas, it will be a Seagulls ball. Right smack bang on halfway. They lead 16-12 here. 17 gone, 23 left in this second half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Walsh off to Takiaho, and he'll play it 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Can Foran's men go 5 and zip under his reign? And, of course, losses have been hard to come by for the Panthers. 7 wins and 1 loss on this year so far to sit top. And they're top for a reason. Brown goes charging there into Sorensen. 25 out from that southern line. Penrith defending, Manly on the attack. Walsh engineers the pass to Paseka. And he's tackled now. Everything out from that southern line, right-hand side of the post. Kick from Brooks. Goes in behind the line now. Spilled by McLean. Pounced on by Olakau'atu and Edwards. And Edwards was there first to ground it and affect a line drop out Penrith. So it's still Manly 16, the Panthers 12, 18 gone, 22 left in this second half. Touchline Michael Karianis.
Just to back up what Matty Elliott said a few minutes ago regarding Luke Brooks, great composure there. Went to the line, had a defensive line into mines, but went to the line, went deep into it, put a grubber in and got a certain restart. But they've just checking something here. Oh, they're going to call Hamoli Olakau'atu knock on there as they try to contest the ball.
Okay, so rather than a line drop out, that will mean it is Penrith's putting in a restart, and comes across here to the right-hand side of the park with Brian To'o. Play it there for Cogger. Keeps going to that blind side right, and there is Isaac Tungo, as Michael mentioned, an error in his first 10 seconds on the field. Scored a try against the Knights last week, though. Scored a try last time these sides met round 8 last year, Isaac Tungo. 8 metres short of the halfway, played by Sorensen. Cogger across to Isaiah, and now Cleary. On his left here again, it comes through Talangi to McLean. Set upon by Saab. Popped out the pass to Papali'i. Still 40 out. He was ankle tapped by Saab. And that will stop Papali'i here on play 3 for the Panthers. It's Manly who leads 16-12, though, here at Parramatta. Across to Edwards. And he was sore. Stuffed away from him. Now the ball's come down here, pounced on by Manly, so Brooks will play it 5 inside Panthers territory. Dummy half Simpkin. Across now to the tall figure of Paseka. And he backs his way there into Isaiah and co. Now Takiaho. Brought down by Cogger and Papali'i. Open side left, they come Walsh. The left-hand side to Brooks, and again they go those numbers out wide. The fullback Tolatakola brought down 20 out from Penrith's line. Second last play here for the Seagulls. 16 points to 12, their lead here against Penrith. Comes the right-hand side now. Garrick back on the inside for Olakau'atu. Now he ran behind someone. No, he's going to surrender here on Talangi, which is I guess why. So he'll play it now. 13 out from Penrith's line. Walsh, up goes the kick, high in the in-goal area. It's potato footy down there in the in-goal, and deemed to be
player offside in front of the kicker there.
So there we go. Big penalty here going Penrith's way. 16-12 remains Manly's lead.
Just one of the observations about the Panthers' play tonight is they're trying to actually beat the opposition through making plays rather than the player beating the other player. Does that make sense? They're trying to create space, through strategy rather than actually play direct footy.
Penalty count 3-2 Penrith, by the way. Scoreline reads the Seagulls 16, Panthers 12. Here you're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, Michael Karianis in this final game of around 9. Sorensen will play just inside Manly territory. Cogger gets in behind him, shares it with Yo. Off to Edwards, and now Alamoti's been good. And he's slid away one tackler there. Now he's tackled by Brooks. Play it back to Cogger. Spun wide to Cleary. And now again through hands it comes from Talangi off to McLean. And it takes 2 or 3 Seagulls to stop him. 28 out from that northern line. Left-hand side of the field. Jenkins, Papali'i, and now Cleary on this second last play. Edwards through the gap here for Isaac Tungo. And he takes on the fullback and goes in to score. Isaac Tungo scores a try. The tries in back-to-back games for him. And This game still has 20 more twists and turns left. Matthew Elliott at 16 points all. Kick to come Penrith.
Oh, Dylan Edwards there, take an absolute bow there. He goes all the way into the line there, puts on just a sublime short ball, puts Tungo into the clear, and he just goes through untouched. But wow, Edwards there, just the tempo that he played with reminds me of the old Jason Smith.
Touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, great ball there from Dylan Edwards. Isaac Tungo, when he burst through, didn't exactly speed to the try line. He pulled up just to get a sense of what Kohler was going to do at the back, but too much strength eventually to score that try.
What a game this is. 16 points all. Now the kick from Nathan Cleary will be... I'm trying to work out the angle here. He's about 5 metres in from the eastern touchline. 21 metres out. As I mentioned, it's sort of a delayed start to the year, Isaac Tungo. He's had to sort of prove his place in this team. And he's now scored tries in back-to-back games.
I was just watching him. It was almost like a stare-off with Kohler coming at him. So whoever blinked first was going to be the one that gets the try or stops the try. But he hung in there, and as MC said, rolled his way over the try line.
Tough kick here for Nathan Cleary. Said 20 out, 5 in from the eastern side with 18 minutes left in the game. He's 2 from 2 so far this evening. The Penrith champion. And this kick on its way. And he raises those flags at the north end of the ground. So Penrith in front, 18-16. With now less than 18 minutes left in proceedings here. Around the grounds AFL first quarter. Gold Coast 20, GWS Giants 3 at Carrara. Off the SMS 0467920222. Come on Eagles, says Francis. Fosball boys, great call. And go Manly. We got this. Love your show, guys. Come on, give Foz the job already. Keep up the good work. I had a text from someone earlier. I didn't get their name. Saying if he wins this game tonight, the Panthers do lead by the way, 18-16. Can't forget that. But if he beats the Panthers tonight, is that almost a matter of okay, he's done. He's in now for next year. Almost at this stage.
I like the idea of him having the job. He just probably needs the right staff around him to make sure he's got the experience there to help him out. But he's certainly doing a fantastic job.
Cogger goes himself from dummy half and steals a quick dozen here. Over 30-metre line for the Panthers. 20 in from the eastern side. Edwards dummy half. Flat ball wide for Isaiah Yeo. It is Penrith 18, Manly Warringah 16 here on ABC Sport. 17 minutes left in this second half to complete round 9 of this NRL season. Set restart Panthers just inside that halfway stage. So a full set inside the Manly Warringah half, and there is Nathan Cleary, who's brought down by Walsh and Olakalatu. Play it now for Cogger, off to Edwards. Inside ball back to Leota, who's back out there now for the Panthers, and he's stopped on that 30-metre line now, centre field. Roll back for Cogger. He finds Smith. Front row combo back at the starting front row combo for the Panthers. 17 out from that northern line, left-hand side of the post. Through hands, Cogger, and now Isaiah Yeo. And tackled ball and all down there is Nathan Cleary. It's last play Penrith have a 2-point lead here from Manly Warringah. Comes to Isaiah Yeo. Talangi on here to Papali through the gap. Offload. Oh, picked off by Saab. He's got nowhere to go. So McLean gets him straight away. And the Seagulls will start their next set. 5 out from their own line, all end of Western Sydney Stadium. And a big hit down there on the fullback towards our Kohler.
And he's slow to his feet. The Manly players got their hands in the air.
Surrounding him, Tolata Kohler. It was Papa Lee who was sort of trying to flee the scene there as... Oh no, it was just the contact of Cogger. I'm not sure if it wasn't anything untoward from Cogger as it appears on the first replay. It might be a matter of whether he gets his sort of head caught in an awkward spot, the ball carrier.
No, I think his left shoulder definitely makes contact with the head here. This might be a little bit an issue.
So Cogger's sort of trotting away nonchalantly here as Tolata Kohler is still slow getting up. It's Penrith 18, Manly 16. So he's gone to the bin for 10. So Cogger's gone to the bin. So they're down a man here, the Panthers. They still lead 18-16. Touchline off with Carianis.
And it's because he left his feet a little bit as well. I think that was part of the issue there for Jack Colga. Kohler looks like he's coming from the field as well. So they're going to force a reshuffle across the both sides. The Panthers don't have a recognised hooker out on the paddock at the moment. So it's going to be really interesting to see who they have playing dummy half.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So, intriguingly poised this game here. So, they're down a man for 10 minutes, the Panthers, with that sin binning of Jack Cogger. They lead by 2 points, though. 16 minutes left.
Just seeing what the adaptation that Manly going to make, who they're going to put to fullback. And hang on, they're just waiting for the other player to hit the field.
So, fine touch on the western side here, the Seagulls. Penalty count in the game has been, what's that now, 4-3 Manly's way, on my count. We'll play it 30 out, 20 in from the western side. Olakawatu, stepping run. Does well, gets towards halfway. We'll play it there in front of Leota and Papali'i. Simpkin flares it wide now. Brown to Brooks, left-hand side. They work it through Benro BK15, and now pass was apparently forward. We're in line with that one, Matty. Didn't appear obvious to me, but like Raymond, the beloved bin chicken all over it. 18-16, Penrith still leads here.
I think that's a tough call, but just to give you an understanding of what's going on here is Hopewadi's gone to fullback, Ben Trebojevic gone to left centre, and Bullymore into the left back row. So a bit of a reshuffle there, but they shifted to that left-hand side there. The combination was immediately beautiful, and I didn't think that pass was forward at all.
Back of the resulting forward pass, a scrum feed here for the Penrith Panthers. Right smack bang on halfway at the base of it. Cleary spins it wide here for Jenkins. Swatted away Walsh, but he's put down there by Olakawatu. On that 40-metre line, Talangi off to Papali'i. And about 5 or 6 here for the back rower. Plays it now for his fullback Edwards. Off now to Lindsay Smith. Straightening run where he takes Paseka and Simpkin with him. Tackle 4 here for the Panthers. 18-16 their lead here at Western Sydney Stadium. Almost fed back by Cleary, who'll play it now 20 out, 20 in eastern side. Comes to Edwards. And he straightens his run there. Offloads back to Isaiah Yeo. The Penrith captain is playing 11 out right-hand side of the uprights. Lussick goes short side right. Cleary kicks, and it's fielded down there by Hopewadi. He wasn't on body impeded. He spilled the ball anyway, Hopewadi. Out over the eastern touchline, about 5 metres shy. What he's doing with these errors?
Well, he dove to get back in the field of play, but when you got a man down, you know what you really want? Lots of ball. Penrith, this is their 3rd set in a row. So, and even though it's they're a man down, they'll be hard to hold out here.
Let's head to the touchline, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, Matty touched on the Seagulls reshuffle. The Panthers actually had Dylan Edwards playing dummy half in that set, but they identified what was going on. Freddie Lussick has come onto the field, so it was their 7th interchange. So they'll finish the game with Freddie Lussick and Jack Cogger onto the field most likely as Papali'i has come off.
So Lussick on play 2 finds Leota. He's playing now. 6 out right-hand side of the post. Lussick comes back to his left, open side. Cleary, inside ball now for Lindsay Smith, and he takes on the tackle of Jake Trebojevic and Jake Simpkin. Lussick sets up at dummy half again. Off to his right now for Isaiah Yeo. Cleary, Edwards tips on here, Alamotti, and he goes wide to To'o. He comes back infield now. To'o claimed by Benro, which is going to be a set restart Penrith. Ruck infringement, 6 more tackles inside that 10-metre line, and here goes Isaac Tungo, and he will be on that northern goal line just about. Play it there for Lussick. Off to Cleary. All the Seagulls goal line defence wilt here. They shift it right to left now, the Panthers. 18-16 their scoreboard lead as Talangi will play it now. 12 out left-hand side of the post. Tackle 3 here only, so they've got some work to do here, the Manly Warringah defence. Keep themselves in the game. Lussick off to Isaiah Yeo. Now Cleary goes himself off the dummy, and he is in. Is he grounding? Ref White Raymond says perhaps not.
Coming into tackle 4. I have video review. The ball is always up for me, Chris. I just lose sight when it first goes down.
It was wrapped up by 3 Manly defenders, Nathan Cleary. This would be a stunning effort if there is a grounding.
I can tell you, he thinks he's got it down, or he's a good pretender.
Or in the hands of Chris Butler in the bunker. Oh, you cannot see from that angle.
Just reviewing all angles. All players are looking to wrap up the ball.
There's nothing else. Nathan Brown comes across and impedes our camera angle.
See on this angle here, the ball is actually grounded on the leg of Levi Hopewadi.
Yeah. Has his leg under it, so this will be correct call of no try.
The ball remains up the whole time. The whistle's now blown. We have a decision.
Come back and play it 10 metres out here, the Penrith Panthers. 18-16 their lead, as you heard there. Touchline, Michael Carianis.
And Nathan Cleary's had a quiet night by his high standard, but he looked like he was about to score potentially the match winner there. But great scramble, great desperation from the Sea Eagles.
Each team waiting for a moment to decide this game. 2 points in Penrith's favour. Leota, play it. 9 out here, centre field. Lussick waits at dummy half. Last play, Panthers. Off to Cleary. He tries the same again. He dummies and darts, and he's tackled there. Changeover. Great work in there by Simpkin. So it's a changeover. Manly's ball. 8 metres out from their own line, all into Western Sydney Stadium. And it remains Matthew Elliott. Penrith 18, Manly Warringah 16.
Yeah, Hopewadi there really needs to take a bow. He came up with 2 try-saving tackles in those sequences of play, and they weren't easy tackles to make. So he's done a great job since moving to fullback.
Also, it is 13 on 12, so still 5 minutes and 40 seconds left of the Jack Cogger sin bin. Manly, man advantage. It comes across now to Ruben Garrick. And he's run angle toward the western side. Runs into the path of Thomas Jenkins. Dummy half Saab. Across now for Hopewadi. And he straightens into the defence there where he's met by Smith, Leota and also Isaiah Yo. That entire forward pack there for the Panthers. A pass with forward here for Jake Trbojevic on tackle 4. And we'll come back here for a Penrith scrum 40 out from that northern goal line, which Manly are defending, Matthew.
Yeah, nearly a genius play from Nathan Brown. He pushes off the back fence as only he does. Yeah, with Jake Trbojevic in support, he makes the pass, but the ref got that 100% right. He just needed to make that pass 1 step earlier.
So back to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, Ruben Garrick, he got tackled the play before, landed it on that shoulder, just spent some time with the trainers in a little bit of pain, but he shrugged the trainer off to try and play out the remaining 10 and a half minutes of this contest.
So scrum beat here for the Panthers, 40 out from that northern line. 18-16 the scoreline as it currently stands with 10:40 left in the game.
Bit of vigorous cuddling going on in this scrum at the moment. Leota is just upsetting a few people. Good way of just burning a bit of time off the clock.
Comes left-hand side now for Jenkins, and he's claimed 35 out from that northern line. Roll back there for Lussick. Blindside left now again. The run from Smith gains a quick dozen. Lindsay Smith now claimed here on tackle 2 by Paseka. Play at 20 out. Lussick off to his right now for Cleary. Inside ball to his fellow co-captain Isaiah Yo. And a nice little post contact step there on Jake Trbojevic. He's now 15 out left-hand side of the post. Lussick flat ball finds Cleary. Off to Edwards. Trbojevic comes off the line to greet him. And now Edwards still has the ball though. Takes on it towards the 10-metre line. And run down by Joey Walsh. Edwards will play it now. Second last here for the Panthers. Lussick dummy half goes himself, burrowing a little early. He's still 4 metres shy now for the Panthers. Last play for Penrith, 18-16 leaders in the game. Smith dummy half. Off to Cleary. Grubber kick goes toward the post. Scooted down there by Luke Brooks. He gets back to the 10-metre line there. And Manly will start their next set. 10 out from their own line. They trail 18 points to 16 here, Matthew, at Western Sydney Stadium.
Yeah, as we get into close to the sim bid time being finalised, they need to come up with this set, something in this set to test this Penrith defence.
3:15 left in Jack Cogger's sin bin, and there's 9:20 left in the game. Dummy half Simpkin. He's already played 4 inside their own 20 here, the Seagulls, so not a good start to this yardage set for them. And now Falalo is brought down by Todd Alamotti. Play it now for Brooks. Comes here to find Ben Trbojevic, and again just swoops his way through that 30-metre line now before he's met by Isaiah Yo and Leota. It's last play, Seagulls inside 40. Kick will come from Walsh quite hurriedly and bounce down towards Dylan Edwards, who fields it on his own 10-metre line and returns it to the 20, where Jake Trbojevic brings him down in concert with Taniela Paseka. Played back there for Talangi. Panthers back on the attack. 18-16 their lead. 8:40 left in this game of footy to close round 9. Cleary, short side right here, off the deck. He finds Alamotti. No real gain for the Penrith centre. Tackled 40 out. Cleary dummy half. Back to his fullback Edwards. Will share it with Talangi. Swinging across back left-hand side now from McLean. Has Jenkins on the outside. McLean still going though, but Garrick brings him down. 40 out on tackle 4 now for the Panthers. Jenkins across to Talangi. Shares it with Smith. Low ball for Cleary. Across for Edwards. He's got about 10 sets of hands already on this set, on this tackle for the Panthers. And now it's brought down Edwards. Plays it there for Lussick. End of the set now, the kick from Cleary. Chips up to the wing. Oh, Hopewadi. He played that ball. It's come off his shins. And
he's called a knock on by the Penrith player. It did come off his shins, but the Penrith player trying to take it up off the ground, knocks it on.
90 seconds, 90 seconds left in the game. So, go by the way, 14,960. So just shy of 15,000 here tonight. It is Penrith 18, Manly 16. Touchline Michael Carianis.
Yeah, as Matty alluded to earlier, I don't think the the Seagulls have had the ball inside Penrith's half in this whole sin binning period for Jack Cogger. They just haven't had any opportunity. This will be their last set, just over a minute before Cogger returns. This will be their last set with an extra man.
So, 7 minutes left in the game. As MC said, 55 seconds left in the Jack Cogger sin bin. Seagulls on the attack. Walsh up that right-hand side. And he's claimed down there by Isaiah Yeo. 18-16 is the Penrith Panthers lead here at Western Sydney Stadium. Now standing the tackle for Secca, 40 out. Simpkin, dummy half, on play 4. Across for Brown, Brooks, right to left, they shift it now. Ben Trebojevic, brought down by Alamotti and To'o, and he'll play it 5 short of the halfway. Comes back open side right to Brooks. Inside ball, Nathan Brown. And now this will be last play for the Sea Eagles. 20 in from the eastern side to close the set. Simpkin to Brooks, who kicks high and long down towards the chest of Tom Jenkins. Panthers back on the advance here. He runs laterally and then comes into that defensive line. 20 out from his own line, southern end. It's still the Panthers 18 and the Warringah 16.
Yeah, again, great defensive set there from the Panthers. And as they get back to 13 on 13 here, they'll just about regather themselves. And
Edwards to Talangi on that left-hand side. He spins the tackle of Jason Saab and he's lost the ball. So, error Penrith. Still more than a chance here for the Seagulls, but the Panthers will challenge.
Coming into tackle 3 with Blaze. On-field ruling as he knocks on and uses the ground to control the ball.
Be an interesting one, this one, I can tell you, because as we they've frozen it there, but it's a really important play here for the Panthers, and definitely the
Chris Butler in the bunker.
No knock on at this point. We're continuing to play through.
Oh. Well, there's no knock on
Blaze
there.
maintains possession of the ball. There's no knock on.
Challenge.
Challenge is successful.
So, still Penrith 18, Manly 16. Penrith will keep possession here, just shy of the halfway on tackle 3.
Yeah, it's the 3rd tackle there, and that's a big play, because you can imagine if the Seagulls got some field position there, that might have been their one opportunity to get back in the game.
To MC again shortly. 5:50 left in this game. 2 points in Penrith's favour. Smith, play it there for Lussick. Off to Isaiah Yeo, and Cogger off to Cleary. Tungo burst through, and he was dragged down desperately by Luke Brooks. 32 out from that northern line. Because the Panthers are attacking. Cleary. Kick goes up in the air. Sets a task for Saab. He launched better back by Tom Jenkins. Still the last here for the Panthers. Talangi retrieves it. 35 out from Manly's line. Cleary will kick again. Play that by Walsh. Retrieves it well here, Walsh. And shares it now with Olakau'atu. So there's 0 tackle for the Seagulls. And he is now about 6 metres short of the halfway. So big set coming up here for the Seagulls, who trail by 2 points with 5 minutes left.
Did you just see what I saw there with that Walsh?
Walsh trapped it and then it just picked
the ball up with his foot, and then made a great offload with players all around him.
Paseka on play 2 now for the Seagulls. 40 out centre field will play it for his dummy half Simpkin. Back to the young half in Joey Walsh. Pass untidy, went behind. A few options there. Pounced on by his Hopewadi, his teammate. Now Brooks off to Olakau'atu. This slows the line down here for the Seagulls. It's already last play. 40 out from Penrith's line, southern end. Simpkin open side left to Brooks, who closes the set with a high kick for Edwards off that 10-metre line. He launches, brings it down comfortably. And they'll start their next set from there, the Panthers, with 4:20 left in the game. They lead by 2 points as 18 plays 16. Back to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, Tolly Kohler's past his HIA, so he's about a minute away. So I think next time Manly get the ball, he'll come on, and he might be the injection they need to try and find this match-winning try.
Wrapping up round 9 here on ABC Sport as Alamodio and Jinking run through centre field. Stop 30 out. Play it now for Lussick. 32nd last play, though, for the home side. Now Leota. Catch, and now a little run. He gains about 8 metres more now. 8 metres short of the halfway he is. Lussick goes short side right. Cleary grubbers downfield here. Hopewadi retrieves it. 20 out from his own line. Every play counts. 3:40 left here at Western Sydney Stadium. It's the Panthers 18, the Sea Eagles 16. So, Brooks comes back that short side left. Tungol makes the tackle down there on Falalo. He scored the first try of the game. Brooks off to Jake Dvojevic. Angles his run here toward that halfway. And it's played through, make it 3 now for the Seagulls. They come off to Brown. And now Walsh. Olakau'atu couldn't quite burst through a gap. 3 Panthers stop him. 40 out, 20 in Western side. With just over 3 minutes left here. Dummy half Simpkin across to Brown. And now Brooks. Inside ball now back to Ben Trebojevic. And he's collected 35 out, 20 in from that far side. Last play for the Seagulls who trail by 2 points. They're a long-range field goal through Brooks. He shapes the kick. Carries the ball now, though. Pass one Olakau'atu. Off here from Garrick to Saab. He kicks in field. It misses Hopewadi. Bounce there for Tungo. It comes to To'o. The Panthers are away now. And To'o's still going. 30 out from his own line. And now brought down by Jake Trebojevic. 2.5 left here at Western Sydney Stadium. Still the Panthers 18, Seagulls 16.
Yeah, a bit of chaos there. I can see what Luke Brooks was trying to do, get that 40-metre field goal opportunity there, but great pressure from Pentith Panthers and some entertaining footy.
2:20 left in the game here to close round 9. And here's Jenkins on play 4. Roll it back there for Lussick. Almost lost by Azeo on halfway, but he retrieves it. And now we'll play it slowly here for Lussick. To his right for Cogger, and now Cleary. Dummies, darts infield. He tried to burn Jake Dvojevic. Sent the pass back here, lost by Sorensen. So knock on Penrith, and it falls there favourably for Manly. They'll play it 30 out for a 0 tackle. Minute 50 left in the game. They trail by 2 points. What a finish to NRL round 9 here. You're with Brett Sprigg, Matthew Elliott, Michael Karianis. Simpkin open side right here for Jake Trebojevic. And this is play 2 now for the Seagulls. 5 short of the halfway. Can they engineer something special? Brown first receiver. Goes charging, gains about 15 metres. He's up inside Panthers territory. Minute 23 left in the game. Play it now for Simpkin. Back to Hopewadi. Shows some dash here, but he's stopped in short there by Lussick. And they go long range again. Back to Joey Walsh. Gets away from Smith. Lines up from 42 out. It'll fall short for Edwards. It won't be a 2-point effort. It'll fall there for Edwards. Panthers go back on the attack and they protect their own 2-point lead.
Yeah, one of the things you can't do against Penrith, particularly when you're chasing a game, is do 4 hit-ups through the middle of the field at this stage of the game. You've got to actually test their defence because you're not going to get a kick away with no pressure on.
45 seconds left, and guess what? The Panthers are in no rush here. Every tackle, Toller gets up slowly, plays it there. It's time for Jenkins, and they'll be playing at 8 metres short of the halfway. Back to Edwards dummy half. 27 seconds left on play 4. Taking some time off the clock here, the Panthers. 18-16 leaders in this game. Lussick off here again, up that right-hand side of the field through Alamotti. 10 seconds left. This will be last play. Now hang on to the footy. Cleary trots all the way back here. Just absorb that time off the clock and throws the ball into the crowd. The Panthers hang on. I'll tell you what, Manly have lost no admirers either. They push this great Panthers team. But Ivan Cleary's men see it through for an 18-16 victory to close round 9. Their 8th win to, of course, stay on top of the NRL table. Matthew Elliott, your thoughts?
Well, what we learned tonight is that the reason why the Panthers will be sitting on top of the comp for most of the year is they cannot play their best footy and still win games. That's what you've got when you reflect back and you've had a really great season. These are the points that really matter. I don't think Manly played bad, but they just probably lost their way a little bit in that last quarter, didn't they?
Well, just shy of 15,000 here at Western Sydney Stadium. We'll get some reaction from Michael Carianis downstairs with the players, and then we'll wrap up the earlier results as well. Newcastle beat South in a tight one, a high-scoring contest at Hunter Stadium, and Cronulla was far too dominant over the West Tigers at Shark Park, 52 points to 10. Here it was Penrith 18, Manly 16. So the Seagulls suffered their first loss under Kieran Foran, but if you're going to have one against the competition's benchmark, it certainly is nothing too shameful about that. So the Panthers win 18 points to 16 here. Tries to Talangi, To'o and Tungo. And while for the Seagulls, Palalo, Bullimore, Hawadi all costs as well. So 3 tries apiece. In the end, a missed conversion. Ruben Garrick, the difference as the Panthers see it home by 2 points. And we finish up round 9 here at Western Sydney Stadium. So the players are shaking hands. You can keep your texts coming, 0467 920 222 for your final thoughts and summations on NRL round 9. And the Seagulls now 4 wins and 4 losses. I'll just check the ladder as well. It might have them falling outside the 8 or staying just inside at this stage of the season. But as I said, they'll lose no admirers tonight with this narrow loss against the only recent 4-time premiers. Full-time score 18-16. Players are all milling about here. Some of the crowd's dispersed as well. And we can hear from Michael Carianis. Down to you.
Yeah, just with Penrith back row's eye Papali, tough game out there, mate. We're used to seeing high-scoring games this week, but this was an old-school grind a bit.
Yeah, we were watching the game the night, and who's the other team? Rabbitohs. It was crazy, 80-point game, but I think we knew it was going to be a tough grind. Both teams, I guess, been playing good footy, and I guess the scoreboard reflected that 2-point game, but happily we got the win.
When you see a game like that just hours before you play, what goes through your mind?
I don't know, just I guess the new rules are playing a part and how much points are being scored. You see it throughout the first 9 rounds, but I guess that something we just got to adapt to, and I think you just got to adapt, and I think we've been doing a good job at I guess adapting to those new rules.
You guys really managed that sin bin in well. I know you came off during that period, but you guys really managed that period well. That was probably the difference in the end.
Yeah, I think it helped that we had a few sets down at in their side of the field and kind of winded the clock down. And then when Coles came back on, it's probably like 5 or so minutes. So he brought good energy when he did come back on, and I think that contributed a lot to our win.
Enjoy the win, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
So there you have it. Now, I was out completely there with Michael Carianis, and as we sort of touched on with the earlier games, I mean, this is the lowest scoring game today, probably the best game of the 3 Sunday fixtures.
Yeah, really high quality competition between 2 teams that are on a bit of a roll, obviously. As I said earlier, I don't think Penrith played their best footy tonight, but they just do everything collectively. Even when they had that player, in the sin bin, just the way they adapted and they knew the type style of footy that was required in that moment, just so inspiring.
Crowd 14,960 here at Western Sydney Stadium on this Sunday evening. The Panthers with their 8th. We get one more if we can, Michael. Just you can join us back up here for our little post-game wrap-up here on ABC Sport. So we'll hear from the Seagulls, and Luke Brooks is with you.
Luke, what did you guys really took it to them, and it was a high-quality game. What was it like out there?
Yeah, it was a tough game. I don't think we had too many chances, especially when Cogger went in the bin there. It felt like we defended the whole time, which is disappointing. But I think we were disappointed to not come away with any points.
Talk us through your halves partner tonight, Joey Walsh. Obviously, there's been a lot said and spoken about him. What did you make of his performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Obviously, a tough game to come in against Penrith, but I thought he played really well. He we set up a try there, put Schmoll through, made a line break, and then we ended up scoring. So I thought he was good.
What have you said to him? Obviously, you burst on the scene as a kid with all the headlines, all the talk. What have you sort of said to him as he begins his NRL journey?
Well, I've just let him be. I think he's a bit different to me. I think he's very confident, as the kids are these days. So I don't think I have to say anything. Just let him play his game, because that's why he's here. Obviously, he's a great player. So we just wanted him to keep backing himself when he gets the chances.
Obviously, first loss under Foz, but you guys lost no admirers tonight. Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Luke Brooks, there with Michael Carianis. Thank you, MC. You can join us back up here for our post-game and post-round 9 wrap-up here, NRL Sunday on ABC Sports. So 18 points to 16 in the end. I mentioned 3 tries all for the Seagulls firstly. Clayton Fa'alalo opened the score in the game in the 4th minute. They also had tries in the second half to Ethan Willimore in the 44th and Lee Hokwadi in the 52nd, while for the Panthers, tries to Blaze Lange in the 10th. Brian Toto just before half-time, 37th minute, and Isaac Tungo in the 60th minute, which proved somewhat decisive in the end. Nathan Cleary was 3 from 3. Ruben Garrick was 2 from 3, so those missing 2 points. The difference in the end, 18 to 16. A few other things just to roll through as well. The possession was 54% Penrith's way. It was not a game of high completion. 78% completion for the Seagulls, 76% for the Panthers. 4 line breaks apiece, as evidenced by the tight score line. 9 offloads to 6. The penalty count finished up 3-all, in fact, with a further 5-1 set restarts going Penrith's way. 3 players on report. We saw Cogger Sinbin as well late in the game, so they were had a man down there, Penrith, as far as Cogger being in the Sinbin, his 100th NRL game. And the other reports that were made, Ben Trebojevic for a high shot in the first half, and Luke Brooks for a trip in that second half as well. Matthew Elliott, who are your 3 best in the ABC Player of the Year?
I found this a really difficult one to score, actually, but I will go with my first instincts. I'm going to give Isaiah Yeo my 1 point. When you have a middle player make 44 tackles, come up with 107 metres, and he just does stuff like Penrith did today that you don't always notice, but it was just a key role he played. Just the amount of hard yards he makes through the middle of the field. So he gets my 1 point. 2 points to Olakau'atu. I just thought he was just amazing. 170 metres, 41 tackles. Just his improvement in the last month has been mind-blowing to me. And Dylan Edwards, you just can't ignore. He gets my 3 points.
Wow.
2 try assists, 195 metres. He came up with the key plays to get people over the line, and I just thought he was amazing tonight.
So 3 points to Dylan Edwards, 2 to Hamoli Olakau'atu, and 1 to Isaiah Yeo. Matthew Elliott's points in the ABC Player of the Year. It means that, so I think we heard yesterday that Jackson Ford and Nathan Cleary lead the ABC Player of the Year on 17 points. And no points this round for Tedesco or Cleary. Tedesco's 3 points behind them, for what it's worth, but I can't argue with those 3 selections there, Matthew. Next week, the Panthers are away to Canberra at Canberra Stadium. That's the Sunday afternoon, the 4 o'clock game, and Manly are at home against the Brisbane Broncos at Brookvale. That's on Saturday night, so a 6-day break now for Manly Warringah into that game in round 10. And it feels like, I mentioned pre-game, that it felt like this would be Penrith's biggest test for a while. As silly as it sounds, they've been so dominant as far as that wins column. Now it's their 8th victory, but they were beating some lower placed teams, and the Seagulls, threw everything at them tonight.
I think your feeling was accurate. They were really tested and lucky to win the game. Again, I think Luke Brooks shared it with us at the end of the game there when they had that player in the bin. I think they may have got 2 sets in that 10-minute period, which was vital for them to get back, and they're only 2 points behind, so it was a very good, high quality game, I believe. And just the Panthers have a way of finding the victory, even when they're not playing their best footy. It's their collective mentality that gets them there, not one player, but all of them working together.
We'll wrap up our earlier games today as well with the 3 games on Sunday in round 9 and look ahead to round 10 shortly as well. 0467920222. Well done, Manly, despite the loss. Holding Panthers to 18-16 is an achievement. Mark in Mystery Bay from the gear stewards is at least it wasn't 19-16, only 18-16 as Kieran's side couldn't forehand. I've no idea what that means. Most of the material's okay, Gear Stewart. That's completely missed me. But it's very late on a Sunday.
I've got a question for you, Brett.
Yeah.
How would have you gone if that 2-pointer was nailed there and we went into Golden Point? Will you be all right with it?
Yeah.
Because I was getting excited about the prospect of us.
If I could see it go through, and I think the celebrations would have been fairly obvious if he'd nailed that kick, Joey Walsh. But it was his moment. It was always unlikely from that range and that sort of setup. But he took his chances, didn't he, tonight, Joey Walsh?
I thought he was outstanding and showed, why there's so much optimism around, the contribution he's going to be able to make as a first grader. I was quite blown away by his performance and his confidence in particular. And defensively, quite what happens with a lot of young halves is they get exposed in their early games. But wow, didn't he aim up?
Keep your text coming. 0467920222. Penrith 18, Manly Warringah 16. The result here at Western Sydney Stadium. Let's recap the day so far because we had an 80-point thriller at Hunter Stadium and Glenn Lauder has the details.
Spriggy, absolutely ridiculous is a way to sum this one up. 42 points to 38 Newcastle victors over South Sydney, but Newcastle led 22-0 after 22 minutes in this one and looked like they were going to run away with it. But then a couple of tit-for-tat tries late in that first half, South Sydney scoring 2 before half-time to give themselves a bit of a sniff, and then they started the second half the better of the sides. Cody Walker scoring 2 minutes into the second half and perhaps looking like they might have gone on with it with 3 tries before Newcastle got one, and then Cody Walker scored, Latrell Mitchell scored, and Trey Mooney virtually put it to bed for the Knights with 7 minutes to go. Dean Hallertau, we saw some players coming back from injury, particularly for Newcastle this afternoon, and they started like a house on fire with Kalen Ponga at the centre of a lot of it.
Yeah, they did, and it was good to see. I've been up here a few times this year, and they started strong for this season, and you had hope for Newcastle, obviously new coach, and things sort of turning slightly, and then they went into a bit of a hole, so the last month has been pretty difficult for them, albeit they had a number of key players off the field. They got Dylan Brown back a few weeks ago. They had, obviously, Kalen Ponga. Bradman Best has spent some time on the sideline. Tyson Frizzell as well, the value that he brings as a leader in the middle of the field, all those sort of things coming back in for them today. It was a good recipe to start things off with a good attitude, really good intensity, and they piled on the points in that first half. Unfortunately, fell in a bit of a hole. Well, not really a hole. They just allowed Bunnies to gather some momentum themselves to get back into the game.
We spoke about one fullback there in Kalen Ponga. The other fullback this afternoon, Matt Duffy, is really settling into that spine of South Sydney, and his combinations this afternoon with Cody Walker and also with Latrell Mitchell on that left-hand side saw South Sydney get a lot of success as they came back into the game in that second half.
Yeah, well, Matt Duffy, he's spent some time obviously out of the NRL and abroad, 218 running metres today, and he's set some pretty high numbers over the last few weeks in his time back here. And you don't forget about Jai Gray, but you kind of do because Matt Duffy's just stepped right in and is doing a fantastic job. Latrell Mitchell was a handful every time he touched the ball, and his ability to come up with really big plays is amazing. And Alex Johnson, obviously he's the greatest all-time try scorer. He continues to score tries, but it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's a nice place to be in when you're outside someone like Latrell.
Yeah, so it'll give Newcastle plenty of confidence after 3 fairly heavy losses in a row. They go to St George Illawarra next week down in Wollongong, and South Sydney, after those back-to-back victories, conceding or scoring 38 points and not getting a win. That doesn't happen too often in the NRL. They're at home to Cronulla next week. It was 7 tries apiece. Trey Mooney got a double, Dylan Lucas got a double, and Greg Marju got a hat-trick for Newcastle. For South Sydney, there was a double to Cody Walker and to Alex Johnston, and then tries to Sean Kepi, Tallis Duncan, and Latrell Mitchell. Kalen Ponga finished finished with 7 from 8, and Latrell Mitchell 5 from 7. 42 points to 38. Dean Hallertau, who got your ABC Player of the Year points?
Yeah, well, I went 1 point to Kalen Ponga, the returning skipper and fullback for the Newcastle Knights. Just dangerous throughout that whole first half, and had some good leadership in the second half to finish things off. Latrell Mitchell got my 2 points, just his creative ability. I think it's something like 5 line break assists, a couple of try assists, and a try of his own. He was outstanding on that left edge. Trey Mooney got my 3 points. His work through the middle to start the game, he was a back fence carry almost every time they kicked off. His carries in general play were really strong, rewarded with 2 tries, and then defensively he was very, very tidy. He kept popping up on each side of the field to cover things, and I thought he was outstanding, the young front rower.
In front of 23,413 at Hunter Stadium, Spriggy, a crazy 7-try apiece affair has finished Newcastle 42, South Sydney 38.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Dean Hallertau, there at Hunter Stadium. And Michael Carianis rejoins us here. Brett Sprigg alongside Matthew Elliott, wrapping up round 9. 80 points there across that game. I mean, this is an age-old, a recent debate about the current modern shape of footy. Does more points equal better game?
I've maintained for as long as I've watched the game, no. A high-scoring game doesn't mean a good game. A low-scoring game doesn't mean a bad game. We've seen grip in, 16, 14 games where it's been end-to-end and last-ditch defensive efforts have saved the day or things like that. So, no, and that's not to say a high-scoring game is a bad game either, but there's no correlation between the points scored and the quality of the game for mine. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus, I think, from fans out of that game earlier, although I'm sure Newcastle fans are very happy with that result earlier as well. At Shark Park, one team was high-scoring at least. Andrew Moore and Luke Lewis wrap up Cronulla Sutherland and West Tigers.
Spriggy, was such a dominant second half by Cronulla Sutherland. They scored 6 tries in that second half. Remembering it was pretty tight at the break, 18-10. West actually led 10-6, but huge injury for them was Adam Dewey. He scored a try in the 10th minute, dislocated his shoulder and was not to return. Another worrying injury for West, who went into the game without Jareen Buller and Api Croyasau, among others, was the fact that Samuela Fainu, you could argue he's been their best player this year, the left edge back rower. He left the field with a leg injury late in the game. Hopefully that's not too serious. But for the Sharkies, there were 2 trebles scored by second rower Teague Wilton and also KL Iro. Also scoring tries was Jesse Colhoun in the first half, Sam Stonestreet, and an intercept from Nico Hines in the second half. Hines kicked 8 from 9 for West. Those tries in the first half within 6 minutes of each other to Adam Dewey and Taylor May. But in the end, 52-10 to the Sharkies before a crowd of 14,478. Luke Lewis, very convincing second half by the Sharks against a Tigers team that looked really deflated.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, they started well. They used that sun to their advantage over there, come up with a couple of nice tries. Tigers got back in front with some really good football, but I thought when Dewey left the field, I could see the Tigers sort of lose a little bit of confidence. And I reckon when they went in at half-time, they were looking around the room, they were seeing who was sitting there or dressed up and not in their playing kit. Their confidence went right down. The second half, the Sharks just took it to them. They held the ball. They completed well. They had good field position. They scored some really nice tries, and they didn't go away from what worked for them in the first half by just kicking to that left corner. They got a lot of success. Obviously, Teague Wilton scoring 3 tries, but some brilliant work by Braden Trindle, and obviously Kale Ira. I thought he was outstanding in that centre position today as well.
So the Tigers, is it a day they can just shrug off? I mean, they're up against Melbourne in Melbourne next week, and Melbourne's lost 7 in a row. So this is a game the Tigers will feel like, if we're a legit finals team, we should be beating them.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think they had to do a lot of defence today with a lot of errors. But that's because they didn't have the people out there like Adam Dewey to kick well and obviously help with their running game. They didn't have Jareen Buller who would chase every kick and score those tries and push up into those little bits and pieces, and Croyasau in the middle of the ruck. Those 3 guys are huge. So I reckon today they can dead set go, look at it and go, okay, we learned a lesson today. Let's put it in the back pocket and start again. But they've done a great job to get here. They've had one of those games where it's a bit of a mishap, but they have to start again next week.
All right, Player of the Year points from Louis went 3 points to the 5'8" Braden Trindle, the puppeteer. 2 points Teague Wilton, and 1 point to KL Iro. Sharks 52, Spriggy, far too good for the West Tigers 10.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Louis, and to John Gibbs, who joined them out there at Shark Park as well. Okay, so we're wrapping up round 9 here. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Of course, the weekend began with Women's State of Origin Game 1 on Thursday night in Newcastle. Newcastle. New South Wales won that 11-6. So game 2 will be in a couple of weeks' time in Brisbane, which will also launch Magic Round at Lang Park as New South Wales look to defend their title. And in fact, those last 2 games of that series will both be in Queensland, so in Brisbane and then Gold Coast. Round 9 began on Friday. Cowboys beat Canterbury 28-12. What is happening to the Bulldogs? They've now lost 3 in a row and 5 of their past 6, MC and Matt. You've had a couple of days to make sense of it now, MC, about the Bulldogs and their troubles.
Yeah, I've probably been pretty steadfast on my beliefs around the Bulldogs last year and into this year. I just think they've got their combination in key positions wrong, and last year what they were able to do, they were able to defend their way to victory, but the way the game is at the moment, it's almost impossible to defend your way to victory. So, you know, if you sat down and you ranked their 1, 6, 7, 9, I think that would be an intriguing thing to do, because I don't think you'd be in the top 10.
Yeah, you're not miles off at all there, MC, in my opinion. I think the other thing that they're doing way too much is trying to bring nuances into their game and make small changes. When they beat Penrith, the only team to beat Penrith, they focused on line speed and running hard. And that allowed them to stay in the game. And ever since then, they seem to be trying to come up with trick movements of personnel and ways of playing.
The Dolphins beat the Storm 28-10, and Melbourne have now reached a record low point as well. The first time they've ever lost 7 straight games. Of the 3 games yesterday, the Canberra Raiders knocked off the Gold Coast Titans at Robina 28-12. The Warriors continue to look very impressive. Beat Parramatta here at Western Sydney Stadium 36-14, and at the Sydney Football Stadium last night, the Sydney Roosters held off a second half Brisbane Broncos and come back to win 38-24 after at one stage leading 30-0. Injury concerns out of both sides in that game, with Martin Tawaze, Angus Crichton suffering injuries, and then Lindsay Collins also failed an HIA. Out of that game, Match Review Committee, Tony Staggs offered 2 matches for his very ugly elbow at the back of Hugo Savala's head. Keep in mind, MC, no Adam Reynolds. He's kept you on HIA, so he won't play next week against Manly, and Dean Mariner also injured for the Brisbane Broncos, who have been suffering plenty of those sort of concerns across this stage of the season. I mean, you want to say again that they lost no admirers last night, but more injury concerns for the Brisbane Broncos, and of course that Staggs suspension as well.
Yeah, no Payne Haas in the short term, no Ben Hunt as well. So there's a long list of concerns there for the Brisbane Broncos. I listened to most of that coming back from the game here last night with the Warriors and Eels game, so I haven't had a chance to catch up on it fully, but yeah, they're just in they'll play finals footy. They'll probably be a top 4 side. I think it's Penrith clear cut number 1 for mine. Then you've got the Roosters, Broncos, and then South was the other side, but we saw what happened to them today.
I'll go through our ladder very shortly. Just to recap today, Newcastle 42, South Sydney 38, and at Shark Park, Cronulla Sutherland, the Sharks 52, beat West Tigers 10. The ladder then looks like this, with the Panthers on top after 9 rounds, 8 wins and 1 loss. They are a game clear and for and against on the Warriors, who are 2 points back from there with second spot. The Roosters sitting in third, also on 14 premiership points. The Rabbitohs, West Tigers and the Cowboys 1 game further back from there, occupying 4th, 5th and 6th. The Seagulls, Sharks, the Broncos and Knights sitting either side of that top 8. So the Seagulls and the Sharks remain in the top 8. The Seagulls just fall the 1 spot after this result in the games today. Broncos outside the 8 now, with the Knights, who of course did win earlier, and then behind there, Dolphins, Bulldogs, Raiders, 11, 12, 13. Then it's the Titans, Eels, Storm, which is just seeing them sitting second last after 9 rounds is just extraordinary. And the Dragons get their first points, Matthew, courtesy of the bye. So that's how the ladder looks after round 9.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Brett. But both MC and I are over the moon about that.
What's that for and against? -151. So we'll get to all that shortly as well, because round 10 gets underway Thursday night. The Dolphins host Canterbury at Lang Park. The two games on Friday, firstly at Central Coast Stadium in Gosford, where the Sydney Roosters take on the Gold Coast Titans. Then the Cowboys host Parramatta in Townsville. Saturday's games, George Illawarra coming off the bye, up against the Newcastle Knights in Wollongong. South Sydney v Cronulla Sutherland at Stadium Australia. Saturday night, Manly v Brisbane at Brookvale. On Sunday, it's Mother's Day. Thank me later. Next weekend, Melbourne hosts West Tigers at Amy Park in the 2 o'clock game. Then it's Canberra versus Penrith to close out round 10. The Warriors will have the bye. And don't forget NRL Monday tomorrow night with Andrew Moore. And I believe it's Connor Watson tomorrow night is his co-host. I had a couple of texts from people asking about various injuries and things, but someone also asked about the situation with Melbourne, and it's quite unique, MC, in terms of Craig Bellamy's illness, which they obviously revealed a few days ago now, and they maintain that it's not going to affect his coaching in the short term, but it is a unique position for a club to be in as far as a coach battling an illness such as that.
Yeah, of course, and obviously, the Storm have been aware of it. There's been an understanding of it for the past couple of weeks, but they're still learning about what's exactly going on with Craig and how they can navigate the season ahead. But Craig's obviously said to him that he wants to finish at least this season as head coach. Long term, I think that might be a different proposition, but it's hard to speculate on, right? Or really talk about, because it's such a private matter that the Storm and Craig are dealing with.
And there's just widespread respect that goes out to Craig Bellamy. Matt, I know he's a friend of yours, and I'm sure you've sort of shared your own sort of best wishes privately. But yeah, it's a unique situation for a club to be in, but everyone sends their best to him.
Oh, it's hard not to be impacted by it, and I think the thing for Craig, hopefully gets the opportunity to reflect on the amount of lives he's all changed right now. He's in adversity right now, the club's in adversity right now, but what he's done for people living right now is pretty incredible. The amount of players whose lives he's changed and careers he's changed is just, I've never seen anything like it, and then what they've created that club for fans there is just extraordinary as well. So hopefully he takes a moment to breathe on that as well.
Any predictions, MC, across the week of news? We got a few days of no footy. I mean, we had the Jerome Luai thing was pretty big. Yep. He's uniquely placed as far as his conditions of his contract, as far as the announcement and everything else. Anything you think forthcoming on the PNG thing in the next few days?
Not in the next few days. No. I wouldn't have thought so. No, not in the next few days, but that's going to be a moving feast.
Can I ask you something, just like after tonight's game? What do you think about Kieran Foran?
I think he's going to be the next head coach of Manly, or the permanent head coach of Manly. I think it's almost impossible not to give him that job now. Whether or not it's going to prove to be correct is going to be the interesting one, because, like as you said, Matty, I feel like the ideal situation would have been to have a senior coach and have Kieran work closely with that, and then have Kieran follow that senior coach in. But the results that he's had has also made it too difficult.
Thanks, MC. We'll see you in the paper and on TV. Thanks, Matt. Thank you to CJ, our tech here on the Faders at Western Sydney Stadium. Thanks to Adele Moa and to Ned Hall across the day, to our teams right across our 3 bumper games on Sunday in round 9, of course. NRL Monday tomorrow night with Andrew Moore and Connor Watson. And, of course, round 10 starts on Thursday. So we'll see you then right here on ABC Sport.
ABC News with David Rowlands. The Prime Minister has strongly indicated the government will target negative gearing in this month's budget, despite ruling out any changes at last year's election. Cabinet is finalising an overhaul of tax breaks that's expected to include changes to the capital gains tax discount, negative gearing and the tax on family trusts. During last year's campaign, Anthony Albanese said changes to negative gearing were off the table. Mr Albanese today sidestepped questions about whether pursuing change was worth the risk of breaking a commitment.